actually.
Susie
maybe would be better.
Yes, maybe they need to get Susie.
Now I suppose it's the 24th, which is the South African population, and it just feels like a bit of a middle figure.
Try. And don't try. I don't care who you are. You gotta get some more sappers into your squads for this exact reason.
That's exactly why we have so many sappers in other teams.
To rate players, to get involved. On my picks.
You played it unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
Look at you. Welcome everyone to episode 6 of the More Than Disorder, the Mad Show, with myself and only Stevie P this week. Steve, how's it going?
Yeah, well, hectic. We're having to run through this because Rusty's decided to throw in a little 7 team announcement.
I mean, by now we should expect this, Steve. So
correct.
Yeah,
correct.
Expect the unexpected.
Ironically, the one time where we keep saying that the Monday team announcement makes life a bit busy, probably the one time a Monday team announcement would have worked for us, but keeping us on the toes.
That's the way it goes. So we've got Rusty's announcement to look forward to, so we're going to zip through this episode of the Mad Show. We've also got Rugby's Greatest Rivalry Tours here. The All Blacks are in country, and they've caused quite a stir. We've seen reactions from fans across the nation, specifically down in Cape Town. Mixed reactions to that. Really enjoyed your Breakfast Club show that you did with X this week that launched. If you haven't checked it out, check out the Breakfast Club. It was great to sort of see the reaction to some of the fan comments there. This is the first full tour in South Africa in 30 years. We've got our first match on Friday night, the Stormers versus the All Blacks. We got the Boks are back in action, and I think that's why everyone is so excited for this week. It's Bok Rugby weekend. And then we've got some schoolboy drama to discuss. So lots to get on through the show, Steve. So if you're happy, I'm happy. We're going to get started.
Yeah, I think so. Well, let's get into the breakdown, shall we? Yeah, I mean, the All Blacks are here. And interesting reaction. Obviously, 25,000 people in at, 5,000 people on at the stadium to welcome them. We've got they're playing golf. They're Cody Taylor. I think that's kind of the main thing. Before we get to the rugby, old-fashioned tours. Yeah. I mean, he was basically saying that they don't come here for Super Rugby. So he says for some of these kids, it's their first ever time in South Africa. And when you come in for a test week, you're in. You focus. You might have a day off, inverted commas, and that's kind of it. Tours now. When you got a full tour, you can go and actually experience the country. And I think that's probably the biggest thing for them at the moment is playing golf, going to the beach, experiencing what it is to be here. I think that it's definitely starting to feel a bit real at the moment.
No, absolutely. And a little bit of a teaser, we won't say too much, but they are living the South African way.
Well, they're attempting to.
They're attempting to. That's a very good clarifier there. So we'll see more of that later on. But no, it is going to be an awesome tour. And I think what we spoke about last week with Brian, and what a great guest. If you haven't checked out last week's episode, go check it out. It was a lot of fun to have him on the show. Was about that off time, right? About having the ability actually to switch off, take your mind away from the game, enjoy the country that you're in, but then switch on when needed to.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's when you're here for such a long time. I mean, this is an 8-match tour, and they've obviously got a USA leg as well. So it's a lot of traveling, a long time away from family. I think when you're very young, it's quite exciting. The older you get, now you're leaving family back for like sort of 6 weeks. It's important to find the refreshing part of it, and I think especially if you look at like World Cups and stuff like that, that's a massive element of it. It's the fatigue. An interesting point that I think that for some of these players is that Dave Rennie said that he's already selected his 23 for the Ellis Park test.
That's odd to know.
I think it's an interesting. I mean, I remember that Rusty basically said that when he went into the World Cup, they kind of showed the players this is the 23 inverted commas. Like this is kind of like if you played the World Cup final, this is 23, and he kind of basically almost said it's up to you to try and potentially change that and stuff like that. But this is more or less where we are. So it'll be interesting to see if that's kind of the vibe. But the difference is Rusty had been with that team for 4 years.
Yeah.
For somebody who's only had 3 matches with this group to basically say he already knows his test 23, that's a bold call.
No, it is. And then so it kind of calls into question, well, then what is the point of Friday's match against the Stormers for the All Blacks, right? If that is the case, if Ellis Park's team has been picked, what is it for the All Blacks to do? Do you think there is that mindset, like, hey, play your way into position? Or
yeah, well, that's what I'll be interested. I mean, he basically sort of said that he basically intimated that most of the teams have kind of already been picked, even like the domestic stuff like that, which I know to a certain degree you're always going to have to kind of say, right, how are we going to rotate it all out? And whatever side that's going to get named on Thursday will be, or sorry, tomorrow actually on Wednesday, because it's a Friday game, it will be a bit different to, obviously what we're going to see next week. But it's a strange one. For example, Beauden Barrett hasn't played a minute of All Blacks rugby this year.
Crazy.
So he goes and shoots the light out on Friday and everything looks better. Are you going to have to go back to Ruben Love and say, oh, listen, I know you were supposed to get a run out at Ellis Park against the Boks, but actually when you go to Beauden. So it's ballsy. I think the only thing that, from a positive point of view of an All Blacks fan, is that he's very much come in and stamped his authority. Right. So I think that, and again, that can kind of go both ways. It can either be a great thing or it can cause a bit of a rift. But considering that even the Boks team is very much up in the air, maybe it's a bit of a tactic of saying, we're focusing on ourselves. We're trying to ignore all the external noise, whatever team Rassie might put out. We've got our team. This is where we're going to go. And that's all we're caring about, really.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating. And there's been quite a stark warning, or stern warning rather, to the All Blacks, basically saying, hey, the midweek sides, your club sides, the Stormers, the Lions, the Bulls, they're auditioning for Rassie, right? Those players and those teams are seeing it as an opportunity to show Rassie and the coaching team what they've got. So they'll be out for blood.
Yeah, and even a couple of the pundits, New Zealand pundits, have said, a big thing that they're going to be doing, I think it was Steve Hansen was saying, that these midweek sides are going to have a go. And he said, Stormers' job from a larger part of the tour is to try and hammer the All Blacks, not from necessarily a score point of view, but make them feel that, how do you really sort of soften them up in inverted commas, and no one's going as far as sit there saying they're going to try and injure specific players, but that is their role. Their role is to really try and batter and make the All Black. By the time the All Blacks get to the Boks, it needs to be how do we lift ourselves up now for a test series. That's what makes these tours so difficult. It's not. It's supposed to be very difficult for the tourists, and that's why like a British and Irish Lions tour, even against Australia, the fact that they couldn't get a clean sweep against the Australian side, which was growing, but nobody gave them really much of a chance. But it goes to show how difficult it is when you're on a tour to be able to lift yourself up to that intensity and make it through these midweek games. And at the same time, chances are we're going to see some big scores, but there's the banana peel there. There's in all these tours, there's always a game where there's a bit of hang on. Last year, that combined New Zealand, that Anzac team gave the Lions a bit of a scare. During the last Irish tour, we had the SAA playing against the Boks. The SAA gave the Boks a bit of a scare. So I think that there's definitely the potential for a scare within those midweek games. And you don't want to slip up from one of those.
No, absolutely not. But let's then move on to the Boks, right? So we've got Bok Rugby back on the weekend. They're out in Buenos Aires. They're into a hostile environment. And Argentina coming off quite a feisty, more feisty than usual.
I think if you talk about pre-match nerves, the referee can't be feeling very good ahead of this week.
No, gosh, the security has been beefed up for sure. But we have 26 men traveling and some big names returning to the side, which is quite nice to see. Some stalwarts, your Ibn Etzebeth, Khaleesi is captain again, Lurt is there, Sasha's back from injury. From those guys, the returning players, who are you most looking forward to potentially seeing getting on the field and seeing their form?
Yeah, I think, for me, Lurt is a big one, Lurt and Eben, in terms of the engine room. And thankfully, I think Kobus Wiese has stepped up. I think Ben Jason Dixon has stepped up. But no Achia, no Franco Mostert. If we're going into the first test without our Fab 4 locks, we can cope because we've got the depth. But those are, I think we underestimate how important those players are. To the point where it almost doesn't matter which ones they are, but having two of those sort of the Fab 4 inverted commas has always been huge. The big, I think, one that the All Blacks will be watching is Sasha, because Eben there's more footage on Eben than any female before, quite literally, in terms of being the most capped. So you know what he's about, you know what he is about, you know what Lurt's about. We're now sitting with flower options in Mali, Andre Pollard and Sasha, and we play very differently depending on which of those players play. Yeah, the core gameplay might be the same, but they're all so different. And to a certain degree, they probably were planning on Mali, Bakondre, Pollard. Now that Vusimore is the unknown, I don't really think he'll potentially play. But Sasha is a player who makes things happen. He's a difficult player to prep for because he's so much variety in his game. He likes to take it on. He's a running threat. So you will prepare so differently for Sasha versus Amani that it becomes a big. If he has a good game this weekend, shows that he's fit. That becomes a big, I think, crash point for the All Blacks in terms of how do we prepare for who he's going to play. Yeah,
absolutely. And I'll tell you what, Argentina, despite showing really good form, right, in the last couple of times against the Springboks, I mean, they beat us right under Contaponi. When was it? South Africa in 2024.
Yeah.
And then last year, they narrowly lost, right? 27-29. However, in Sasha's last outing against them, he put on, was it 37 points?
Yeah, record performance.
Record from a Springbok, most points scored ever by a single Springbok in a game. So, Argentina, always a tough one. You never write them off, and if you do, you don't know anything about rugby. But I think really they are, chomping at the bit, especially given that bitter England defeat.
Yeah, and I think they've obviously got quite an interesting squad. Lots of new faces in. They're kind of using this. They've got this game. They've got a couple of games against Oz. This is their opportunity now to bring in some new faces to sort of see where they're at. They're missing some key players. No Montoya, for example. No Albanose. Which means on the face of it, you think it's going to be a weakened Argentina side. But also, again, now's a lot of unknown. Because now we're playing with players that we might not know very well. In Argentina,
Hostile.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to sit there saying, but I mean, it's like an Argentina B team. They're going to be straightforward. Look at, arguably, our player of the Nations Championship was Paul de Villiers on debut. Yeah. So there will be young Argentina players who haven't gotten that opportunity. And if there's ever a time to make a statement, and this is the big thing. Somebody was saying we need to try and find a way of getting the Boks back to being underdog somehow, because that's when we perform well. And I kept saying we now had to learn how to wear the crown, and heavy is the crown. Yeah. But we are now the team, we are now the barometer. You do it against the Boks, you can do it against anyone. That's what players are thinking these days. So it's a big chance for those kids.
No, and they'll be keen to take it, and we'll be looking at how many tears are shed in the anthem, and that's always usually a good measure about how finally the Argentines are going to
exactly. I mean, that's what I said about Carlos. When you see the tears in the anthem, you're in trouble. You look at those defeats when they beat New Zealand in New Zealand. There were plenty of tears before that.
Plenty. So no, it'll be interesting. I'm very excited. It's like a late game, but it is what it is. I'm sure everyone will be.
Well, it's not 1 in the morning, so I'm taking the wins there. A 9 o'clock kick we can get through. Also, just certainly, I mean, there is an Australian game, at least it's not the classic rugby championship where you've kind of got like that 7 o'clock Australia New Zealand game, and then like the 10 11 o'clock. A Bok game, and then that becomes a long stretch. At least now, the Brass can start a bit later on Saturday.
Yes. Yeah, no, perfect. And then kind of switching lanes a bit for our final story of the breakdown, looking at some Currie Cup news, Steve. So we had the pleasure of actually going out to UJ this past weekend and watching the Lions. I thought dismantle the Bulls maybe is an appropriate term for that score.
Probably quite polite.
Actually.
It was a bit of abuse at a stage. It threatened to get very out of hand.
It did. But if you didn't catch it, the Lions scored 42 points to 19. But I think the big talking point here for a lot of people was that this game actually was played at UJ and not the home of the Lions, Ellis Park. What's happening there?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think because the next one's at Wits as well, it basically sounds like the Lions aren't going to be back at Ellis until after Greatest Rivalry. So obviously the Lions game is in the midweek game, and then there's the Ellis Park test. Well, it's the Ellis Park test followed by the midweek game, and then supposedly they're going back to Ellis. I loved it. I think that it was a vibe because it was enough people within a smaller stadium to make it quite vibey. And I mean, we sat quite high. We weren't boxed in, so it was comfortable. But there was definitely a reasonable noise. There was definitely you could be not paying attention and hear the cheers when somebody's coming up. Watching students sneaking bottles of wine, and it was a bit nostalgic. But I think it just goes to show that we've got to take rugby to the community stadiums. I mean, you look at the Boerland games, for example, and they're absolutely packed. And when you go to these smaller community stadiums, I always say that South Africa's one of our fundamental problems is the lack of community stadiums. It's the way to do it. You'd far rather put 4,000 people in the UJ Stadium and try and put 6 or 7 into Ellis Park. No,
absolutely. And I think, I can't remember the last time I went to Ellis Park, but I've seen the crowds on TV, and it just must be a bit sad, especially when you're all spread out and there's just empty seats everywhere. As you say, we were on that main stand there, looking around, it was full. I think you've got a great shot, actually, and we'll include this in, of just the mind games done by the Lions and the Bulls for the coaching staff.
Yeah, the Lions and they raised Wendy house for the Bulls under the poor gazebo. Big fan of that as well. But I also think that's also, you talk about using home ground advantage as well. Take your opposition as much as you can and make them feel a bit uncomfortable. I mean, we had players walking just randomly in between fans almost to get to the change room and stuff like that. Which at this level, you can get away from it in terms of a security thing. But make it different. Bring players down to scratch. It's not always going to be the fancy Ellis Park change room with your TVs and I think go and sit in a matchbox. I always love that from the FA Cup in terms of football, when people go to play in these tiny change, and it's like a reminder that this is where you have to start before you get to Stade de France and the likes.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be very cool. I think it'd be quite lacquer for, again, the URC, we talk about that being at your national stadiums, but then maybe for the Currie Cup games, you actually look at bringing it to the universities, because it was so lacquer. We got on the bus from the parking lot to go there, then we walked back, in fact, which was quite lacquer, and it was safe. And again, huge credit to the UJ team and the students and the organizing staff. There were people directing us the whole way. It felt safe. It felt like the old days almost, when you would go watch rugby games, and it just was very lacquer.
Yeah, I couldn't agree. It was such a good experience. I mean, it's a bit next week, and I think I'm hopefully trying to get there. Friday afternoon fixture, but yeah, get them to the community stadiums, because there's a thirst for live rugby, and we'll talk about when we get to the more in schoolboys, because 25,000 people are apparently watching Paul Him this weekend. So the thirst for live rugby is there. We just got to make it accessible.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Awesome. So, speaking of the loose trio, should we get into it? You want to take us through this?
Let's get into the loose trio. So, for those of you who are new, the loose trio is quick and fast and fun. And we've got a couple of stories over here. First of all, big rumors, massive rumors, in fact.
Oh gosh.
One of the biggest additions, supposedly, or a potential addition to the box side, is rumors that Susie is back.
Susie.
Now, if those people don't know, Susie was the rumored poisoning legend from 1995, where the All Blacks got food poisoning shortly before the Box won the World Cup. Lots of conspiracy theories about how it was engineered within the Box. In fact, I think it was one of the Box security guys who said there was no doubt that it was, inverted commas, a poisoning, or that was not just a mistake, but he said, but very far-fetched to suggest that SA Rugby were behind it. But yes, she was the big legend around that, and a lot of the All Black fans and pundits have been saying just be wary of what to eat down in South Africa, because you don't want to have a repeat from that. The main thing from that whole thing is that 15-12 was the final score, but yeah, 27 players from the All Blacks went down in the 48 hours before, and yeah, excuses as far as I'm concerned.
I suppose it does, again, put into context the clip that we're going to be looking at a bit later.
Correct.
It starts to make a bit of sense. You'll see that shortly.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, maybe get Susie back.
Yeah, actually,
Susie
maybe would be better.
Yes, maybe they need to get to get Susie, because yeah, it's a bit of a travesty there. And then where's a fun one? If you're a Bok fan, is
I am, for the record, to make it sound like
4,000 people went to the All Blacks event on I think it was Thursday or Friday to welcome the All Blacks. Reportedly, Mark Alexander was apparently booed when he was there, and apparently that he's talking about the fact that the tour is about mutual respect, and apparently there were basically lots of chants about cheaper tickets.
This is a recurring theme, right? I think we've spoke about ticket prices almost on every episode of the Mad Show. Clearly, there is a message from the people just not accepting what's being put out there.
Yeah, and I think it's even the Greatest Rivalry. I mean, you're looking at your community games, inverted commas, your Lions, your Stormers games, and tickets, unless you're basically in the corner, are like starting at 850 Rand. Now, you're thinking, guys, you've got 3 matches in Johannesburg, 2 tests, Lions game, and then Loftus as well for the Bulls game. So you've got 4 matches in Gauteng. They're not entirely the same clientele, but they're the same clientele, really. Your diehards are going to want to try and go to all 4 of those matches. Now, if you want to go to all 4 of those matches, you are forking out upwards of 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 Rand. The FNB one FNB test isn't sold out yet, but yeah, I think the public are still, I think, quite hurt, and they keep saying they're going to review after the season, because that's the part when they can't go back and make things change like they did the first S Park test. But lots of fans, I think it goes to show that even just because the Springboks are doing well, doesn't mean the fans are going to voice their displeasure at things that they don't agree with.
No, absolutely, and I think you might even hear that displeasure more, because you want to go see your team doing well, right? You want to go see the team in full flow and be able to tell your kids, your grandkids, I was there in that 2026 era, I saw Sasha, or this. But you are pricing out a large part of the population. And again, we want to believe that Ubuntu and everything that Rassie talks about in Chasing the Sun, the documentaries and the guys, that's what it's for. It's for South Africa. Bongi going up to Andre saying, do it for South Africa. Like there is this we used to have the 23rd man, right? Those adverts.
Player 23 young.
Player 23 young, exactly.
Yeah.
But now I suppose it's the 24th, which is the South African population, and it just feels like a bit of a middle finger. But anyway, we've spoken lots on that, so let's see what happens.
Well, 40 rand tickets of the weekend Curry Cup, so shout out towards that.
Yes.
And then on the back, we talked about Dave Rennie having picked his 23 for Ellis Park already. Confident, risky. My question is, I wonder how much the Boks have. You know, as I said, Rusty likes to basically line up a season of inverted commas, stuff like that. So in terms of where the Boks are at and where the All Blacks are at, if Rusty has picked a team, I want you to give me 5 players right now who are written in ink. Not like a whiteboard that we can sing, not pencil. Written in ink, borderline painted onto that 23. I was going to say 1, but that's just 2. That's boring. So
what is boring?
Give me 5. Obviously, we don't know about fitness of Oxenchair or Franco Mostert.
Okay.
But because obviously Oxenchair is the first person you write down on any team sheet.
Well, that was last week, and I had to cross them off because.
Yeah.
All right. So what I'm going to do is, can we go back? Like
Yes.
I'll go one, you go on. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start then. I reckon Damien Willemse. Yeah, I know.
For the low-hanging fruit.
Well,
there, the
have
low-hanging fruit
have
here.
to. Yeah, Damien is, I think, on there for sure.
Yeah. Okay, we'll state another obvious one. Obviously, Peter Steff, the toy starts.
Yeah. I'm going to stick in the forwards then. I think Sears on the team sheet. I think he is the talisman. Obviously, we'll see fitness and levels. You know,
Well, I suppose Sear very rarely comes with the bench.
Yeah.
Even if he's not entirely fit.
No, he will start a game and maybe needs to come off early as opposed to coming
Yeah.
on later. So yeah, I reckon Sear.
Yeah, and then Jasper Wiese, for me, nailed down at number 8.
Yeah, that's solid.
And then give me another one that's not Malcolm Marx. That's the other one, it's stupidly obvious one. After that, there might be a little bit of thought.
I reckon our wings are pretty solid, and our centres, in fact, as well. I think it's just about pairings. But I think if you look at kind of the players that have been left behind, right? So I reckon probably a Damien Delendi is on there for sure.
Yeah, there we go. Damien. I like you. In fact, you're going Damien. It's too easy to go to get your career as well. We're going to have a shortage of 13.
Yeah.
Andre Estesen might have a word about that. But yeah, that is the loose trio. Fast, fun, and if you have any other stories in the likes of that, then jump in the comments. Let's get into the mall. This week on the mall, a very interesting contrast. We've got schoolboy rugby in its, I don't even know what to call it at the moment. I don't know if it's the boom, if it's the golden era. It's just South African schoolboy rugby at the moment from a crowds and interaction point is probably bigger than the Curry Cup. It's become bigger than the Varsity Cup.
Yeah.
And you know, you are seeing crowds at school games that are bigger than URC games. Yeah. And we saw the absolute high and lows of it this past weekend. So we had 25,000 at Parchim, apparently, roughly. It is the biggest schoolboy rugby match in the world, and a big win for Parchim. And looks like an incredible match over there. And Chim's 15 straight win after they lost to Stellenberg. They got their A's into G. So they got that, and then 2 matches called off. One where a racial slur was heard by the referee, and he categorically said that I will not be part of this. And I actually listened to the audio, which was quite, and he basically said, "You guys will do your own investigations." He said, "I heard it, and I will not." I don't know who it is, inverted commas, but he said, "I'm not going to continue." So I think in that regard, well done from the referee, and I think you've got to make it that kind of consequence. And then we saw clips that are all over social media about Ege Jansen and Menlo Park in the Noordval match, which had to be called off after players and fans clashed and actual brawls. And I just think, and I've been saying this for a while, you know, schoolboy rugby is bigger than the Curry Cup. It's bigger than, you know, like a Varsity Cup. And there's multiple things that are a problem for that. First of all, security risks are a big issue because they're not passing the same sort of security things that we are seeing, and now we're seeing fights and the likes of that. And I just watch them and just think that this is not a good thing long term for the kids themselves. From a mental health development, the well-being of them. In terms of our rugby, we know that this is definitely working. But do you think we've now just gone too far? is the question.
Yeah, and I think it's very fair. And first of all, I mean, props to the referee, right? Of both games, actually. It would have been very easy in some ways just to carry on because facing the pressure, right? Thinking about how popular it is, the parents that have come out to play, the coaching, the ambulances that are there, all the organization.
You'll have it like, oh, my grandmother's phoned in to watch a game.
Exactly. And so fair and huge props to them both for actually taking a stand. And I think when we talk about rugby values, for me, that's what kind of comes to mind, where, you can very easily see this. And I was about to say no shade to football, but actually, fuck football. I hate it. There's a clip of
Tell us how you really feel.
Is that you just wouldn't see that. You could not imagine it happening in other sports, and even in kind of code adjacent sports. I saw there was a clip on my timeline recently of a rugby league player where a slur was heard from the sideline and he just stopped and everything. So anyway, it's just something about rugby. But putting it aside, has it become too big? Are we doing the players, the kids actually? And I'm sorry guys, you won't like to hear this if you are high school players, but you are children. Is it negatively affecting them? My sort of closest thing I can compare it to actually was in the US, where we had college or university player football teams, right? Steve, these oaks would bring in 110,000 people. They were sometimes bigger than the professional leagues, and there was this huge debate that went on for years about, do we pay them? Do we not pay them? They're students, they're athletes, they're children, they're minors. It's this whole.
And that's at college level, hey?
College level, at university.
So, I mean, that's at least 18 and older.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's that debate going. And I think we are starting to see some of the negative side effects of having such a spotlight on our school teams. There's no doubt that we should be promoting rugby across the country for what it brings to people, both boys and girls. But there should be a very clear line. I think is it Donnie Craven that was wary of not wanting Craven Week to have a final, right? That we spoke about it, where he sort of professionalizes it too much. It should be for the love of the game. I think so. I think then when you go into professional leagues, that's when everything can kick off.
Yeah, and I think it's just a fine line, because it's difficult to not be excited about it, given what it's producing. We are winning World Cups. We are winning under 20s. So you don't want to come across as this. Oh, we hate schoolboy rugby, because I mean it's phenomenal.
Yes.
And I've watched a few games. I was at Kes Fest, and I've always loved Kes Fest and Saints Fest. And I mean, I used to go and watch Kingswood St Andrews, and it was a massive deal. And even those games were big, but you now got people like millions are tuning in to watch these games. And again, my gripe is not with super sports schools that's being able to consume this, but you're talking about the scouting systems, you're talking about the professionalism within the coaches, the treatment of and as I said, they are, and very good word to use, they are children. As much as we can sit there and say, oh no, but look at how they train and look at how they think, and that's what Kevin Foote said. And he's right, and he said, these kids are coming through and they're professional, they look after their bodies, they're diligent, and you don't want to say that's not a good thing, but they also are children, and we've got to allow them to be children. You've got to be allowed to go and lose your rugby game on a Saturday, and so what at the end of the day.
No, and there was another clip I saw online where, and I forget the exact numbers, and maybe we can find it, but it was someone who was looking at the likelihood of your child becoming a professional a player and then a Springbok, and it is a mind-bogglingly small number.
Yeah, it's like 0.0000, and
so
then you get into it.
Now, think about all the stress and the pressure and the strain and everything that this, again, child goes through, potentially for naught, right? So then they don't make it as a Springbok, and then they've lost their childhood. I don't know, I played to a semi-serious level. I was never at a big rugby playing school here in South Africa. So I also appreciate, I'm speaking from my position, and I'm not in this kind of same thing that these kids are. But I just think it has to ultimately be about the game. And again, young Wes, if I'd said this to him, would have punched me in the face.
Yeah.
It is just a game at the end of the day.
That is.
And we just need to keep that in mind. And it should be more about what can the sport teach your child? What can the sport teach? Teamwork, resilience, the ability to lose, get back up, get back up, get back up. These are values that has been instilled in me. Hard work, you play for man on either shoulder, front load. Those are the things I've taken away from rugby. Yes, my sore shoulder as well, but those kind of key values.
Yeah, and I think what we've got to do, because the problem is we can't just say, right, it's done. We can't suddenly just cut off super sports schools.
No, genie's out the bottle.
Stop allowing people to come in. Yes, exactly. We're at the situation. I think my biggest frustration is that we didn't, the proverbial we, you know, and I think SC Rugby needs to start taking ownership of this. We weren't expecting the boom. We haven't put the safeguards in place. And we are now in an unprecedented situation where we have got school. I mean, Marcus Miller, I mean, I should not be knowing the amount or seeing the amount of I've seen of a boy in Cape Town playing rugby, you know, and he was 18 years old. And I just don't actually have the time to watch a lot of schoolboy rugby, but I knew of him and I'd seen his clips. Ethan Adams, you know, we've always had schoolboy stars because you still had social media. I mean, Dave Villeneuve you kind of knew of, but we didn't have his highlights from when he was 10 years old. And again, so whether it's now looking at, do we stop limiting in terms of what level games are shown at, for example, do we need to start putting a lot more safeguarding about, you know, bursaries? And I think there does need to be. It's difficult to sit there and say, stop giving bursaries to poor kids who are, because you're not uplifting them. And you are, and it's amazing. This is the thing. There's so much good coming out of it.
Right.
But we are in a situation where mental health in the youth is really, really prevalent at the moment. And arguably, people are saying we're in a situation where we've got a high suicide rate we've got in schools. We've got massive dropout rates. We've got massive levels of depression. And a lot of the older generation will sit there and go, oh, suck it up. But as I said, you watch... And that's what somebody was saying. They said that and I said on the actual live stream today, he said, I remember as a parent had a fight for my under 14D team. And he says, he just can't imagine what these poor boys in first team level are going through. Because yes, when it's going well, how phenomenal. You score a try in front of 25,000 people. You are the absolute hero. You miss a tackle in that game and you are immortalized for your failure.
No, the highs are high and the lows are low.
That's where I get worried about it.
No, big time. And no, it is concerning, but you're right. There's so many, you know, positives and potential drawbacks. And guys, we'd love to hear from you, right? This is a communicative show. We'd love you to get stuck into those comments. We do read them, and we'll get back to them. And we'd love to know your thoughts. Where does it sit for you guys on the Mad Watchers? Like, it would be lovely to know. Those are our opinions, and we'd love to know yours.
Yeah, and then I want to get into more shame and more fame.
Okay.
So this is a bit of a lighter note, and very, very interesting to sort of see what the feeling is, because the All Blacks are here, and they're getting involved. Before that, this is what we had last week, by the way, and the front row, we're going to...
This was a thing of beauty. Probably one of my favorite clips. I mean, just look at the big man go, the little goosey, the handoff there. He's just, up he goes, pace from the big man. And, okay, we'll get back to that tackle in a second.
Yes, yeah. So that was last week's Mall of Fame. The man's going quite far up on the Mall of Fame. We're busy tallying and sorting out our Mall of Fame, which is going to be updated next week with photos and the whole likes. So that was last week. And if you are new, basically what we do is we look at these clips and we give a ranking. 3-pointer, 5-pointer, 7-pointer, essentially. This week, it is a nominee for the Mall of Shame. And it is the All Blacks doing some team building, getting involved in the local cuisine. And they had a braai. And these were the scenes at this braai. I want to know what your...
I haven't seen this.
Yeah, what is your first initial reaction?
There's a lot of flames. There's a lot of flames. And I'm English, saying that. Soti, South African. So... Yeah, flame grill that just tastes better. Maybe they were auditioning for Spur.
No? Yeah, or
Steers. That's it.
So I don't know if they were sponsored by Steers for this bribe, but and I don't know if they were doing it almost intentionally to start really riling up South African fans. But
actually, the
South African public have not taken well to seeing this. And so if you're a Kiwi and you're wondering, well, what is wrong? First of all, you don't cook on a braai for at least... probably about 4 to 6 business days when you light the fire. If you're cooking with, you've even got the slot on the right-hand side. You build the fire needs to go up, and you then, as it starts to die off, you've got your coals, you start to spread them, people. You've got your fire going on the right-hand side so that you can shake it up, bring some more coals across, but we don't cook on open flames here. No. Thankfully, I'm seeing a lot of red meat. I'm seeing hopefully a lot of beef, because, I mean, if somebody had rocked up with the chicken flatty, that would have made life interesting. But that's,
I mean, look, fair shout to the lads for having a go, right? They're in South Africa. They want to try, a bit of the experience. Now, had this been the Scotland team, completely different story, right?
Yes.
Because would have been there, would have been a lack of braai, there would have been no problem with it.
Would have. I mean, if they rocked up there, and this is the thing, you got to get. You got to get some more Saffers into your squads for this exact reason.
That's exactly why we have so many Saffers in other teams. No, so I think, look, fair play to the lads, but it is a bit of shocking technique there. We're looking at there's a lot of flames. I do think it's a good audition for steers, but it definitely is on the Mall of Shame.
Yeah, well, there we go. So we've got to give it a score between 3, 5, and 7. Where's where you at?
Yeah, I think I've got to go 3, right? It's on the lower end for me. I appreciate it's a terrible clip, but I just really like the lads having a go at it.
Okay, you're going to go with 3. I'm at a 5. I mean, it could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to have a word with the hotel staff who let this happen. And this is maybe one thing that, actually it's a bit of an exclusive, but rumours have it this is why they're bringing Tony Brown in post the World Cup.
Right.
Because it's more about, it's not about the attacking shape, it's about the braai techniques that he's hopefully learning with Rassie and the lads.
That makes sense. And this is where Susie would have been helpful.
Yes,
right?
that's what I'm
saying.
saying.
She would have never allowed this to happen.
No, she would have walked in and ready to poison and said, hang on, first of all, let me just sort this out. Let me sort out this issue, and then we'll go into that.
No, very good. So we'll get producer James's score. Once again, reminder, guys, let us know what you guys think. Is that 3 points a penalty? Is it 5 points a try? Or 7 points a converted? And with the Mall of Shame, the more disgusting or tragic it is, the higher the score, right? So I thought it was all right. So 3 points. Steve thought it was a bit worse, so you gave it 5. So get stuck in those comments. Let us know, what do you think that is?
Right, we're going to get some try live, and we have idiot-proof paddle. Well, I like to think it's idiot-proof.
Yeah,
paddles.
you say idiot-proof. You haven't met me yet.
Yes. So on the back of having to try and explain to everyone each week how they all work, we've now got paddles. So simple try or lie. It's basically a bit of a true and false.
Cool.
And producer James will be reading us some questions, and we'll be giving it a try or a lie, and then you guys in the comments can give your take. Producer James, hit us.
Okay, so we've got a current one. Argentina is still the most underrated team in international rugby.
Yeah, I'm going to give that a try. Although ironically, I think they have not been particularly good. I do think Scotland are communally disrespected.
Yeah, so I've also gone for a try for our audio listeners. 2 tries. I couldn't think of a team that would be more underrated. I think everyone else is pretty clear on where they're at. Italy maybe for a time, but then they've just shown terrible form.
Correct. But yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone ever thinks about Argentina as a genuine top 4 or 5 team.
No.
And yet, you go look at the World Cups and the likes of that, they're always in the mix.
Yep.
That.
Okay. And then I've got a dominant scrum is more entertaining than a length of the field try.
As a forward, I know this pains me to say.
Yeah, I enjoy a good scrum at the best of times. Length of a field try though.
No, we've both gone for lies.
Yeah.
And especially if that is a full team try, if there's offloads in it, maybe a grubber through, like even an individual break. I mean, no, sorry, James.
It's probably about the only try that's really better than scrum. But Volko, I do apologise, and if you want to come to the Mad Show and have a go at us, please let us know so we can organise a chair per Thunder Thigh.
Yeah. Yes, we need that custom made.
Yes. Producer James?
Alright, so we got Griquas won the inaugural Currie Cup competition in 1892.
Oh, this is true false. Now, I'm terrible because it could be true on the year, but false on the team, but true.
Look, I wasn't there. You know what? Back in the day, I mean, it's tough playing in Kimberley these days. It must have been impossible back in the day. I'm gonna give that a try. I'm gonna back the Creek was there.
Just to be contrarian, I'm gonna go lie then.
You probably find they weren't even in the Currie Cup. I mean, this is like Northern Transvaal and stuff vibes.
92?
1892.
Okay.
So, okay, it's false.
Yes.
They received the original trophy in 1891, but Western Province won the inaugural competition in 1892.
Technicality, but I'll take it. A win's a win.
Okay. All right. Then we've got every professional rugby player has one opponent they're generally afraid to tackle.
Tries. And don't try. I don't care who you are. I don't care. I mean, I remember, interesting story. I was at the World Cup and they basically spoke to Artie Savia and he had basically said that he doesn't go into a game excited about contact. He said he has to help himself up. Like he's not, this idea that he's not scared of contact. He's like, oh, you're mad. He said, it hurts. He says, just because we're big and things. He said, so that was a kind of unique instance because I remember being, it's good when you go into matches, 50% sometimes nervous and sometimes you go into matches just genuinely scared.
Yeah.
Because it does hurt. So I think that there's nobody that can say that there's 10 out of 10, no one scares them in terms of having to tackle.
Yeah. No, and especially when you replay teams or players and someone's got your number.
Yes.
Like, and they've bounced you once or twice before and there's that mental block and it's terrifying. Absolutely.
Yeah, look, maybe Steph's toy might be the only one that's not. Just because he told everybody, said if you're scared, you say it now. So, and I'm scared to suggest he might be scared. So
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So
Vicky Bung here.
Okay, and our last one we've got, Wes is the type of person that would accidentally reveal team tactics during a pre-match week press conference.
He's self-incriminated himself with a try as well.
Yeah, no, I just get so excited, and I'd probably be so proud of the boys and the work we've put in throughout the week, and I'd be like, oh yeah, no, so this is this. I'm looking forward to so and so doing this. Is what we wouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
I would be.
You would be a terrible hybrid player. You'd be sitting there under Esther and say, like it was quite interesting because I was in the line out yesterday. Everyone's going, what?
Yeah.
That's
I think that's a fair one. That's on me.
Yeah, true. Well, Wes been taking the L's lately, and everyone did agree that you get eaten first.
Absolutely, no one agreed.
So it's the tough times for you on trial line. Maybe you might have a bit of time on the next round of the next phase.
Fair enough.
Right, welcome to the next phase, proudly brought to you by My Picks, and it's the very exciting time now where there's opportunities to predict teams, predict scores, to rate players, to get involved on My Picks.
You played it unbelievable.
It is unbelievable because it is the greatest rivalry tour. It is now time to really start throwing down the gauntlet and showing your mate that you're better than him. You are the alpha. This is not about being better at knowing rugby. It is about being a better man. At the end of the day, this is the stakes involved in your predictions. And what you can do on My Picks is you can prove that by trying to correctly predict teams, try to correctly predict scores, and then go and rate players, share the images, the whole
bragging rights,
Monty,
just
the
everything.
whole thing.
It's
pull an alpha move.
Yeah.
Beat your, get a better score than your dad, and take the keys to the house. This is the type of alpha moves you can make on My Picks in the next phase. And we know this because Wes has been trying to find a bit of a form here. So Wes, new month, new you.
So I think because I was away when my most successful round of My Picks happened, and you guys just glossed over it like it didn't even happen.
As far as we understand, it didn't really happen.
So I won that round, in fact.
You did. But you'd also won it by picking England to win.
It was the correct pick, was it not?
So there is, but there's, we talk about rugby values, and that's just not South African values to be picking England
it's
to
just
beat
no
Argentina.
Pleasing some people.
No.
Anyway, Steve, there's a slightly new board. So what's happening here?
It's pretty blank because we've got games to come. So there are effectively 8 rounds.
Justice.
Round 1 is going to be one match. 2 matches over there. We've got Box and Argentina as well as Stormers and the All Blacks. Then we've got Sharks All Blacks, Bulls All Blacks, Springboks All Blacks, Lions All Blacks, Springbok All Blacks, Springbok All Blacks, Springbok All Blacks. I think that's actually the right thing. So basically for every game we're going to give a prediction, an exact prediction. My Picks is going to score it. You guys get points on getting the result right and getting the home score close, getting the away score close, getting the margin right. So it's not just a simple...
It's all that maths lit coming into play.
Yeah, well, thankfully got algorithms going in there and calculators. But this weekend is going to be probably arguably the hardest. First of all, we've got no idea what to expect from the Argentina side. We've got no idea what to expect from a Stormers side. We don't even know who's going to play for the Stormers. And we've got no idea really to what to expect from the All Black side. So on that note, I'm going to give you the chance to start.
Thank you, Steve.
Because I'm a giver at the end of the day. I'm a very generous person. And...
which one will we start with? You're going to start with Stormers All Blacks?
Yeah, let's start with Friday night.
Okay.
the page. Go and join the My Picks Mad Community Score Predictor so that you can potentially feature over here, and then we'll tally at the end. And we've got some forfeits, some very fun forfeits coming over here. We had Bokkie, which is basically the loser of the week has to wear that, but we've got concepts like we might even be driving around with a big sign in your car that says, I don't know anything about rugby. These are some of the forfeits that are being thrown around. There's brandies and rumblers and the whole spiel.
Fantastic.
So we're gonna make sure that you're not gonna want to stuff around when it comes to your picks, anyways.
No.
So what are we saying? Stormers, All Blacks, Friday night, 7 o'clock kickoff.
Right, so result-wise, I'm going to have to go with All Blacks. So they're going to be taking this one. Sorry, Stormers fans. But I think it's going to be quite the margin. I think they will come out firing. I think, again, the Stormers side, we've heard a little bit from them. Not sure what they're at. So I'm going to go Stormers. I do think they get on the board. I'm going to say 15. So I'm saying Stormers 15. And I reckon the All Blacks are going to put on some serious points there. I'm going to say 42.
42.
What about yourself?
Yeah, I think I'm going to give the Stormers... I'm going to give them 18. Yakin Ahmed to cook. But I'm going to give All Blacks 55.
Jeez. Okay. So there's a few more on there.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think it's a bit like the British and Irish Lions where for 50 minutes, I think it gets close. But I just generally think most of the time when benches start coming in, as the game starts to go on, there's usually your sides just don't really have it in you. I think that also they are missing obviously a lot of their box. I think the Stormers side have been very hit and miss this season, and I really hope that it's going to be a lot closer than that, and I'm quite far off. But I do think that we could see a bit of a big scoreline there. Argentina versus Box. Well, I suppose I'll have to take the lead here.
Please do.
Box have basically hit 40 3 times in a row.
Well, that was my tactic, right, in the Nations Championship, and every time I was right on that front, it's just horrendously wrong on everything else. So.
Yeah, so look, I mean, it's a strong Box side. So I'm gonna back the lads. I'm gonna give them 42, and I'm gonna give Argentina 15.
15.
Mm-hmm.
Not far from where I.
No, in fact, I'm just gonna give them. I'm gonna give Argentina 12.
Okay, a bit further from where I am now. Also, similar margin-ish. I was tempted to go for the Box, another 40 score, but they're not at home in a hostile environment. So I've given them 38, and I'm saying the RGs are going to get 20 on the board.
20 on the board, right? 38 points to 20 there. Okay, well, as I said, I think a lot of unknowns there. I mean, I think a lot of it comes down to how fit is here, how fit is Evan, how fit is Lewis, how fit is Sasha. You know, I think if they all rock up on the day and gel, then I think this could go very well. Alternatively, it might not go as well. But I'm going to back. I also think it is a young Argentina side. There could potentially be some surprises, but Argentina just at the moment are looking very porous on defence, and they've got lots of silly mistakes in there. And I think we've been a bit better at capitalising on those mistakes. So those are our picks. Could be completely off. Who knows? We'll find out next week. Go and get your picks down, and make sure they're locked in before kickoff. You've got all the time in the world. You will have the luxury of actually being able to see teams being able to be picked. You know, we don't even know what team Rusty's going to pick. We don't know what team Contepone's going to pick. We don't know what team John Dobson's going to pick. We don't know what team Dave Wren's going to pick. So you'll have all that information. So really, you should be winning this. That is what we're trying to say here. And then we'll see who's going to win between us and Wes. That is another episode of The Mad Show. Time flies when you're having fun.
Does it?
I'm assuming. So, it's free for me, so at least we know that Wes has to suffer through this every week.
No, Stephen, absolute pleasure. And thanks, guys, for tuning in again for another episode. Really enjoyed it. And yeah, looking forward to a fantastic week of rugby. The rivalry tour kicking off, Bach Rugby. I'm hella excited.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very cool. And Wes is going to be trying to convince the girlfriends coming down to visit from the UK that the best way to spend quality time together is in front of the TV watching all of the rugby, as well as all of the analysis, as well as all of the analysis. So good luck with those conversations.
Thank you so much.
But at least you can watch a decent team at the end of the day. Show what rugby is really about. Please make sure you smash like on the video. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. You can listen to The Mad Show every week on Wednesday, 6 o'clock release. Spotify, YouTube, The Mad Show, ZA, on all the different socials, as well as Forever Sports. We will see you guys all next week. Let us know what you guys want to see. Let us know some of the guests you'd like to see. We are lining up some very cool guests for the rest of the month, so hopefully we will have some people with some interesting rugby pedigrees and stories, because at the end of the day, as much as it is fantastic seeing an ex-player like myself on here, apparently people want to see somebody that played at, I don't know, some sort of level.
Can't imagine why.
Like, it's an anomaly.
Steve, when they've got you, why would they want anyone else?
Well, that's my tagline at the end of the
Gotta
day.
give
It might be
people
my Instagram bio as well. But apparently people might want a bit of variation. So stick around, see who we might have soon, and we'll see you guys all next time. Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Sports. The Stormers have announced they're 23 on Friday, and the rumors were indeed true. John Dobson has officially named Yakin Ahmed at 10. He'll make a Stormers debut against the All Blacks. I mean, how's that for one of the coolest possible debuts you could ever have for a franchise? To take on, probably one of the teams that he would have grown up wanting to play, dreaming of playing. I think every single Springbok player, every single sort of rugby fan in South Africa wants to play for the Springboks, wants to play against the All Blacks. That's the whole premise of this rugby's greatest rivalry tour. And now Yakin Ahmed will be able to realize those dreams in terms of playing against the All Blacks, but for the Stormers. And it's a pretty decent side. Very good to see as well that Insuka Tunu has come back to the Cape Town and will be off the bench for John Dobson's men. He was part of the Springbok squad training in Johannesburg earlier this week, but Rassie Erasmus has said that he would like to be able to send sort of players back to their franchises when they can afford to ensure that they are as strong as possible, and more importantly, so that the players can get some game time. And several players who have been sent back to the Stormers are going to feature into this game. Before we get into it, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. This is the 23 that has been named, and some big names over there. For me, probably the biggest name to be able to see is Deon Fourie in the number 6 jersey. Epic to see that he has been able to come back from injury and is be able to be fit to take the field on Friday. So if we look at the side, 1 through to 15, Vernon Matonga, Andre Hugo Venter, Neertling Bashir in that front row. Big pressure on the likes of Andre Hugo Venter, who's been released from the squad. Big opportunity for the likes of Neertling Bashir, who is on the periphery, really, of being a Springbok, in the squad relatively often in terms of the alignment camps, but hasn't quite always been able to sort of take the next step in the likes of that. So he is on the definitely on the watch list for the Boks, but a little bit further down the pecking order. So an opportunity for him to sort of prove his worth. RJ Smith next to Connor Evans in the middle of that scrum. No JD Schickling. There was rumors that, they confirmed basically he was back to training, but wasn't entirely fit. And they said they weren't sure if they were going to risk him. So he is not going to be risked this weekend. And there's going to be Connor Evans and RJ Smith. RJ Smith, I think, also a player who needs to sort of stamp his authority, really, on proceedings on Friday night. What a loose trio this is. Deon Fourie, Achiba Daimane, and Evan Ruiz. Very, very quick. Very sort of athletic. Not necessarily the biggest loose trio you'll see, but very, very quick around the park. And it'll be interesting to see how that sort of counteracts maybe some of the things that the All Blacks are going to try and do. We all know that the All Blacks during the Nations Championship were running the ball a lot and moving teams a lot. So it's a very mobile Stormers pack. Imad Khan next to Yakin Ahmed. I mean, a big opportunity for Yakin Ahmed. But also, Imad Khan's had a bit of a season where he's come of age and really started to put his hand up. And I mean, we saw Asad Muslim having to make the move to Joburg because Imad Khan had kind of leapfrogged him. Obviously, Kobus Reinach, who is in Argentina. So a big opportunity for these two youngsters to really, throw down a bit of a gauntlet. Leon Zas, Sibele Sinatle, Warwick Halan, plenty of experience in that back three. And then a big opportunity, I think, for one of the centres to come for South African rugby, and that is Jonathan Roach. Big player, quite physical, and likes to really get involved, and will be a very big crash ball. And then Ruan Nel, the captain for this clash on Friday, will bring all the experience in the world. Then off the bench, JJ Kotze, Intuka Tunu, and Sadi Sane in the front row. They've gone with a 6-2 split that features Ruan Ackerman covering lock, Keke Marabe, and one of the really, really exciting young loose forwards in the country, Wandile Mlabe in the number 21 jersey. Plenty of experience in the likes of Durval Duvanacher, and then you got Wanasila Similani in the number 23 jersey. Does it have enough to beat the All Blacks? Well, I mean, it's going to take a performance of the ages to even consider the prospect of being able to beat the All Blacks. But you know what? It's a good side. Obviously a couple of players missing, and how much they would love to have had a player like a Phil Colo. He's coming there next season. How much they would love to have had a Ben Jason Dixon, obviously a Sasha, a Kobus Reinach. But at the end of the day, this is what a lot of these provincial games are about. It's about young players. It's about new players kind of getting that opportunity to try and make a statement, getting the opportunity to try and see, can they mix it up with the big boys, and it doesn't get bigger than the All Blacks. And I think that's kind of the whole point, is you be able to really test yourself, be able to really see what it's like. This is as close as you're going to get to playing Test rugby without playing Test rugby. And a lot of people were saying that if there was going to be a team that was potentially try and cause an upset, it was going to be the Stormers or the Bulls, probably the sort of best placed teams really to have a go at this All Blacks. I do think the Lions could be a potential banana skin given the fact it's a midweek fixture, and that'll make life a bit complicated for the All Blacks. We're waiting to see what the All Black side will look like. It will be named later on today, and all we really know is that Burden Barrett's set to start the number 10 jersey. And let's see what Yakin Ahmed can do. I mean, he's a player that seems to have everything he needs, really. You know, he's got the pace, he's got the physicality, he's got a really good kicking game. He's nice and big. He gets involved, good ball carrying threat as well. You know, we've got a very, very talented generation of 10s coming through within Sasha, Liam Guillaume. You've got the likes of Yakin Ahmed. There's lots of really talented flyhalves coming through from the schoolboy structures that have very well-rounded games. And this is an opportunity for him. You know, he's been involved in the Bok camp. He's been involved in the SAA game where he got a red card and was suspended, but he scored a very nice try. So he is talk of the town. And this is a game where, you know, we always talk about players, are they ready? And I think that, you know, something like Evan Ruiz, who's not quite been able to do it at an international level, this is an opportunity for him to say, you know, I should be there. I can do this against an international team. Similarly, for example, this is where like Yakin Ahmed can answer the question, well, where is he? Is he ready for URC? Is he ready for this? Well, he goes and have a great game on Friday. You can sit there saying, well, he might be young, but maybe he is ready for this level. So that's what these players are all playing for. You know, something like a Dion Ferree, he's bringing the curtain down in his career. But imagine if you could add this feather to your cap, that you beat the All Blacks, you know, for the franchise that you have represented for years and years and years. Every single time we look at like vintage games, inverted commas, like Super Rugby back in 2012, 11, and the likes of that, Dion Ferree pops up. You know, his longevity is insane, and he keeps coming back. He keeps trying to make sure that he wants to finish his career at the Stormers on his terms. And what better way to kind of go into the final chapter within your Stormers career than being able to play against the All Blacks? You know, unlikely probably to play for the Boks again, I don't think. But he's definitely, you know, absolute Stormers legend. And this is the kind of games that you'll want to be able to be part of. And you'll be relishing the opportunity. So I'm excited to see what these players could do. Which players are you excited to watch? Let me know down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon. Yeah, and as far as I'm concerned, maybe get Susie back.
Yeah, actually,
you know,
Susie would be better.
Yes, maybe they need to get to get Susie.
Now I suppose it's the 24th, which is the South African population, and it just feels like a bit of a middle finger.
Try. And don't try. I don't care who you are. You gotta get some more sappers into your squads for this exact reason.
That's exactly why we have so many sappers in other teams.
To rate players, to get involved. On my picks.
You played it unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
Look at you. Welcome everyone to episode 6 of the More Than Disorder, the Mad Show, with myself and only Stevie P this week. Steve, how's it going?
Yeah, well, hectic. We're having to run through this because Rusty's decided to throw in a little 7:30 team announcement.
I mean, by now we should expect this, Steve. So
correct.
Yeah,
correct.
Expect the unexpected.
Ironically, the one time where we keep saying that the Monday team announcement makes life a bit busy, probably the one time a Monday team announcement would have worked for us, but keeping us on the toes.
That's the way it goes. So we've got Rusty's announcement to look forward to, so we're going to zip through this episode of the Mad Show. We've also got Rugby's Greatest Rivalry Tours here. The All Blacks are in country, and they've caused quite a stir. We've seen reactions from fans across the nation, specifically down in Cape Town. Mixed reactions to that. Really enjoyed your Breakfast Club show that you did with X this week that launched. If you haven't checked it out, check out the Breakfast Club. It was great to sort of see the reaction to some of the fan comments there. This is the first full tour in South Africa in 30 years. We've got our first match on Friday night, the Stormers versus the All Blacks. We got the Boks are back in action. And I think that's why everyone is so excited for this week. It's Bok Rugby weekend. And then we've got some schoolboy drama to discuss. So lots to get on through the show, Steve. So if you're happy, I'm happy. We're going to get started.
Yeah, I think so. Well, let's get into the breakdown, shall we? Yeah, I mean, the All Blacks are here. And interesting reaction. Obviously, 25,000 people in at, 5,000 people on at the stadium to welcome them. We've got they're playing golf. They're Cody Taylor. I think that's kind of the main thing. You know, before we get to the rugby, old-fashioned tours. Yeah. You know, I mean, he was basically saying that they don't come here for Super Rugby. So he says for some of these kids, it's their first ever time in South Africa, and when you come in for a test week, you're in, you focus, you might have a day off, inverted commas, and that's kind of it. Tours now, when you got a full tour, you can go and actually experience the country. And I think that's probably the biggest thing for them at the moment is playing golf, going to the beach, experiencing what it is to be here. I think that it's definitely starting to feel a bit real at the moment.
No, absolutely. And a little bit of a teaser, we won't say too much, but they are living the South African way. You know,
well, they're attempting to.
They're attempting to. That's a very good clarifier there. So we'll see more of that later on. But no, it is going to be an awesome tour. And I think what we spoke about last week with Brian, and what a great guest. If you haven't checked out last week's episode, go check it out. It was a lot of fun to have him on the show. Was about that off time, right? About having the ability actually to switch off, take your mind away from the game, enjoy the country that you're in, but then switch on when needed to.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's when you're here for such a long time. I mean, this is an 8-match tour, you know, and they've obviously got a USA leg as well. So it's a lot of traveling, a long time away from family. I think, you know, when you're very young, it's quite exciting. The older you get, you know, now you're leaving family back for like sort of 6 weeks. It's important to find the refreshing part of it. And I think especially if you look at like World Cups and stuff like that, that's a massive element of it. It's the fatigue. An interesting point that I think that for some of these players is that Dave Rennie said that he's already selected his 23 for the Ellis Park test.
That's odd to know.
I think, it's an interesting. I mean, I remember that Rassie basically said that when he went into the World Cup, they kind of showed the players, this is the 23, inverted commas. Like, this is kind of like, if you played the World Cup final, this is 23. And he kind of basically almost said, it's up to you to try and pretend.
No, I saw the squad. Afternoon, everybody. Hello. I saw the squad was announced. I had a brief look at it, but at this stage, we all locked in for Argentina next week. So there will be a group, as we said, that will stay behind, that will start focusing on them. Because you can take only so many guys to Argentina. It's only for a week and only playing one match there. So I had a brief look at it, but definitely haven't studied it enough. And to be honest, we didn't watch a lot of Super Rugby. But it sounds like everybody's really excited about the squad. And obviously the way they played in the first 3 games is really impressive. And we all know it's going to be a tough one, but we play Argentina first. So that's our first goal now.
Nick?
How's it, Rassie?
Hello.
Rassie, I just wanted to ask, there's a number of players returning from injury ahead of this game against Los Pumas. Do you feel that it's going to be enough game time for some of them before they head into the series with the All Blacks, or are you expecting to release some of them to play for their unions?
Yeah, there's only 2 guys. There's only 2 guys that won't be available. I mean, there's obviously the long-term injuries to Kwaga and Erge and so on. But guys that we thought that will return this year, it's only Ox and Franco Mostert that is not available for next week's game. Apart from that, everybody, Ethan, Kanan, Sasha, Eben, Luot, who else? Mornay, everybody's ready. So, it wouldn't be ideal, but our first thing is want to beat Argentina. I can see everybody's asking questions about New Zealand, but we have to beat Argentina next week. So let's get past that hurdle. All of our guys have played a lot of URC rugby. Most of our players has been involved in the first 3 matches. So we feel comfortable that over a 4-test match series against New Zealand, you probably shouldn't peak in the first game and then not be able to last the last 4 games, for all 4 games. So, and that included now Argentina's 5 games. So that's if you want to call it, that's 5 games in a row that we must produce. So I think when it gets to the crucial games in that greatest rivalry, our guys will be okay.
Can you so?
Thank you very much, Zina. Good afternoon, Rassie. Good afternoon, everyone. You mentioned the Argentina game, Rassie, in particular. Where does it rank from an importance perspective? Because for your group of players, it is the last game before the All Black series, and it may carry a lot of answers in terms of questions you may have for your wider squad for the 4 matches against New Zealand.
Yeah, well, there's obviously a few goals that you have. I mean, the first one is we would like to, every test match that we play, we try to win, we plan to win, and I think every other team in the world is like that. So the first reason is when we pick a team is to try and beat Argentina, obviously. Then there's a much bigger plan, like I think most countries have right now. That's the World Cup that's in the background, which we all know a year out from the World Cup, you must start making plans to make sure you know what your World Cup squad look like. Then there's a Nations Champions Cup, which is we're taking part in currently, and then you have to respect the team that you play next week, which is Argentina, and then you play the greatest rivalry only after that. So, as I said to the previous, I can't remember who asked the question, we are fairly confident that we 100% know how tough the New Zealand tour is going to be for them coming here and us playing them here. But a 4-test match series is long. And the last test match in Baltimore, so and then playing midweek matches. So we would have played after Argentina, we would have played 5 matches, and then we play the first match and try and win the first match, and then after that, you know, it's another 3 test matches. So I really don't think you want to say from game 1 we are so ready that. I think you want to build and build so that when it comes to the crunch matches, I don't think any of us think the other team is going to beat the other team 4-0. I think it's going to be much tougher than that. But it's, we've learned our lessons many times against Argentina. If you take your foot off the pedal, you can get a hiding there. And we certainly want to try and prevent that.
Justin?
Thanks, hi, Rassie. Talking about Argentina, what have you made of them sort of during their Nations Championship? Mixed bag of results, obviously playing all their matches at home, but what have you made of them sort of in the Nations Championship, and what kind of have you focused on going into next weekend's match?
Yeah, I think us, New Zealand and Argentina and Australia in a way, always, not that we have a problem, but we always struggle to find our feet in our first match. You saw our New Zealand struggled against France, who didn't even send their first choice team there. I mean, they struggled to find their feet in the first test match, and then they just got stronger and stronger. We also didn't hit the ground running just because we only played in November, just like New Zealand and Australia and Argentina. I think Argentina's big thing, I know Filippo really well, as a friend and as a very, very good coach. Their players play all over the world, and you know they don't play in a club competition together. And whilst we are picking also from all over the world, there's a core group of players in South Africa that we always can get into alignment camps and stuff, and they normally don't have that. So I guess the last test match could have gone either way against England for them. And you could see they're building momentum, and it's every year like that for them because it takes time after the November series, and then you don't have a Six Nations like the other countries have. But then on the flip side, the end of the year, then the other countries are also playing URC, and we play Test and Rugby right through, and then we have the advantage again at the end of the year. So I think that's what happened to Argentina, and I've seen they picked a squad now with 10 rookies in there, but if you look at their first choice team, I think the team that we will take over there, they will definitely have more caps than our players, although they pick a very inexperienced group, but there's like core 15 guys that's really experienced that they can fall back onto it, which will form their spine. So it will be a difficult match.
Jan? Jan antwoord nie ken.
Thanks, Sina. How's Grassy?
Hello, Ken.
Obviously, this Argentina game was planned quite a long time ago, but how nice has it worked out that it gives you the opportunity for guys like Urban, Sia, Sasha, all guys who didn't feature in the Nations Championship to actually get a bit of a run out before the Greatest Rivalry?
No, it is, I wouldn't say ideal. We would have liked to have the guys not being injured and manage their time right from the outset. But yes, we always knew we were going to play this game. And when we had the return of players, I think Sia could have returned a week earlier, but we wanted to make sure that hamstring is a difficult thing. Same with a guy like Andre, Eben's concussion, Luit's injury. Sasha's timing on this. So you're right. The game is at a really good time for us, and it's against a quality team. And you will quickly see who is ready 2 weeks after that match to play against New Zealand, and obviously to beat Argentina. So I think you're spot on there. It wasn't planned with that reason in mind. It was always just us honouring our relationship with Argentina, like we're going to do with Australia, post the New Zealand Test matches. But yes, rightly so. Most of those guys will be involved that you mentioned there, who's coming. Ethan Hooker also, Kenan Moody, guys who comes back from injury.
Craig?
Thanks, Ina. Hi, Rusty. Nice to talk to you. Just with that in mind, you spoke earlier about the long-term picture of the World Cup. 5 test matches in 6 weeks. How perfect is that in terms of Rugby World Cup with your Rugby World Cup cap on? Because that's kind of like a Rugby World Cup campaign. You usually got the tough group game and 3 knockout matches. Next year you got 4 knockout matches. So is it good in that sense of preparation?
Without how's it correct? Without being quoted the wrong way, because this is the Nations Cup. I thought when we started out, it's a difficult one to really chase hard, to build for next year. And then the Greatest Rivalry is such a massive thing. But to say you're not going to chase the Nations Cup, a lot of people got upset when I said that. Then we started seeing that there's actually locked points and you get excited about it, and now November is going to be a really exciting time as well. Now the same about the Greatest Rivalry. I'm pretty sure any team that will stand next year holding the cup in the World Cup will say, how much did the series really count this year? Is it really that important? But yes, it is massively important. Not because it's a great dress rehearsal for the pool games and quarterfinals or round of 16, semi-finals and so on, if you go that far in the World Cup. But just because we play New Zealand in a tour again, it is a massive thing. It is an exciting thing. And it's difficult not to look past Argentina. Everybody does. I mean, all the questions we've asked now, and understandably so, is about how we're building up. Of course, everybody's talking about that. Yes, it's definitely a good build-up for the World Cup, for them and for us. But then again, we've learned in the past that you can do bad 18 months out from a World Cup. But that last year in a World Cup, the actual World Cup is the most important thing.
Percy, is this English?
Good afternoon, Rassie. I'll wait for Afrikaans at the end.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Good evening, and it is time. It is finally time. I mean, all those years ago when the concept was announced, we've been waiting. And 30 years since the All Blacks last took on the Stormers, we will finally have the start of Rugby's Greatest Rivalry Tour. People, how are we feeling? How are we feeling about the whole thing? Because I'm absolutely buzzing. And it was weird because it's been like a bit of a weird build-up, because we had the Nations Championship, then we kind of had a start, and we almost feel like we haven't really had time to give this the kind of hype it deserves. But it's finally here. And I think that is just super, super exciting, because I think the more you think about it, the storylines that are going to come out of this tour. Yes, initially we've only got our franchise teams playing, and we're probably expecting relatively straightforward results if we're going to be able to. If you're going to be brutally honest, we're expecting to see potentially some big scores. But this is all building up to a 4-match test series, which is going to be absolutely terrific. And I think what's so exciting about this whole thing is the fact that we are seeing an All Blacks resurgent under Dave Rennie. Obviously early days, and they only played a few games against Ireland and the likes, but they were really good against Ireland. They were good against France. Obviously that was the first game, but they've definitely taken steps forward, I think, under Dave Rennie. And I think that is really exciting for what the tour deserves, because what the tour deserves is some pretty epic rugby. And I'm really hoping that we're going to see some tonight, and that we're going to see. Yeah, I think just a Stormers side that is young, that is probably under strengthened, inverted commas, but also what I think we are going to see is a Stormers side with absolutely nothing to lose. And I think that's what I've been saying. They need to take on the attitude of, you've got absolutely nothing to lose, everything to gain. So you can't let the occasion get to you, inverted commas. You've got to try to stay focused, but you also got to really enjoy what is a really, really big opportunity to go out and make a name for yourself. And somebody like a Yakin Ahmed is hoping to do exactly that. So it's a really, really exciting time. It's a really, really big opportunity for players who have kind of been around the park in the forms of a Dion Fourie and a Deval Duvenaka playing his final game of his career. Tonight has been confirmed that is basically what he is doing. He is playing his final game. Will not play. Probably will unlikely to play against the Stormers once again. John Dobson confirmed that in the week. So it's a lot of emotions coming on because you've got such contrasting sort of things happening. You've then got players that are in the All Black side that are trying desperately to get into the Test side. So there's lots of different sort of mini kind of, I always call them narratives, really, that we are trying to build in the likes of that. But people, let's do a bit of a check-in. Where are we all watching from and how are we all feeling? I heard that there's some people watching from Brazil, from New York, a whole bunch of people all around the world, which is really, really cool to see. So let's do a bit of a check-in. Let me know where you're watching from. Let's get those different continents and countries also checked off before the game and see how we're kind of all feeling, really, going into this game. And what are the score predictions? Is anybody willing to put them out there and have a go at say what do you think the score is going to be? Let me know what your prediction is in the comments below. And but in terms of the Stormers side, we'll look at the All Black side as well. We'll do that properly live here. But in the Stormers side, I did a bit of a reaction in terms of exactly what to look out for the likes of Yakin Ahmed and kind of what is that earlier on in the week. And that is just basically into what I had to say. And when we get back, we'll have a few more minutes. And kickoff is in just over, as you can see on the countdown there, just about 14 odd minutes left to go until we do have kickoff down in Cape Town. Looks like very, very good weather as well, which is really good to see. So hopefully some conditions for some nice running rugby. The team's disappearing into the tunnel. They'll be out very shortly. We will, by the way, have an anthem. We will have a haka as well. So lots of nice little different parts to look forward to. Like, so as I said, you're Yakin Ahmed. Some of these Stormers players are veterans and have never faced the haka because they've obviously never played New Zealand. Now they get to do that, which is what is going to make this tour so special. But in terms of what to expect from the Stormers side, this is who John Dobson has picked. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Sports. The Stormers have announced they're 23 on Friday, and the rumors were indeed true. John Dobson has officially named Yakin Ahmed at 10. He'll make a Stormers debut against the All Blacks. I mean, how's that for one of the coolest possible debuts you could ever have for a franchise? To take on, probably one of the teams that he would have grown up wanting to play, dreaming of playing. I think every single Springbok player, every single sort of rugby fan in South Africa wants to play for the Springboks, wants to play against the All Blacks. That's the whole premise of this rugby's greatest rivalry tour. And now Yakin Ahmed will be able to realize those dreams in terms of playing against the All Blacks, but for the Stormers. And it's a pretty decent side. Very good to see as well that Insuka Tunu has come back to the Cape Town and will be off the bench for John Dobson's men. He was part of the Springbok squad training in Johannesburg earlier this week, but Rassie Erasmus has said that he would like to be able to send sort of players back to their franchises when they can afford to ensure that they are as strong as possible, and more importantly, so that the players can get some game time. And several players who have been sent back to the Stormers are going to feature into this game. Before we get into it, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. This is the 23 that has been named, and some big names over there. For me, probably the biggest name to be able to see is Dion Fourie in the number 6 jersey. Epic to see that he has been able to come back from injury and is be able to be fit to take the field on Friday. So if we look at the side, 1 through to 15, Vernon Matonga, Andre Hugo Venter, Neertling Bashir in that front row. Big pressure on the likes of Andre Hugo Venter, who's been released from the squad. Big opportunity for the likes of Neertling Bashir, who is on the periphery, really, of being a Springbok, in the squad relatively often in terms of the alignment camps, but hasn't quite always been able to sort of take the next step in the likes of that. So he is on the definitely on the watch list for the Boks, but a little bit further down the pecking order. So an opportunity for him to sort of prove his worth. RJ Smith next to Connor Evans in the middle of that scrum. No JD Schickling. There was rumors that, they confirmed basically that he was back to training, but wasn't entirely fit. And they said they weren't sure if they were going to risk him. So he is not going to be risked this weekend. And there's going to be Connor Evans and RJ Smith. RJ Smith, I think, also a player who needs to sort of stamp his authority, really, on proceedings on Friday night. What a loose trio this is. Dion Fourie, Achiba Daimane, and Evan Ruiz. Very, very quick. Very sort of athletic. Not necessarily the biggest loose trio you'll see, but very, very quick around the park. And it'll be interesting to see how that sort of counteracts maybe some of the things that the All Blacks are going to try and do. We all know that the All Blacks during the Nations Championship were running the ball a lot and moving teams a lot. So it's a very mobile Stormers pack. Imad Khan next to Yakin Ahmed. I mean, a big opportunity for Yakin Ahmed, but also Imad Khan's had a bit of a season where he's come of age and really started to put his hand up. And I mean, we saw Asad Muslim having to make the move to Joburg because Imad Khan had kind of leapfrogged him. Obviously, Greatest Rivalry, who is in Argentina. So a big opportunity for these two youngsters to really, throw down a bit of a gauntlet. Leon Zas, the Bellis Natle, Watchalong, plenty of experience in that back three, and then a big opportunity, I think, for one of the centres to come for South African rugby, and that is Jonathan Roach. Big player, quite physical, and likes to really get involved, and will be a very big crash ball. And then Ruan Nel, the captain for this clash on Friday, will bring all the experience in the world. Then off the bench, JJ Kotze, Intuka, and Sadi Sane in the front row. They're going with a 6-2 split that features Ruan Ackerman covering lock, Keke Marabe, and one of the really exciting young loose forwards in the country, Wandile Mlabe in the number 21 jersey. Plenty of experience in the likes of Durval Duvanacher, and then you got Wanasila Similani in the number 23 jersey. Does it have enough to beat the All Blacks? Well, I mean, it's going to take a performance of the ages to even consider the prospect of being able to beat the All Blacks. But you know what? It's a good side. You know, obviously a couple of players missing, and how much they would love to have had a player like a Phil Colo. He's coming there next season. How much they would love to have had a Ben Jason Dixon, obviously a Sasha, a Kobus Reinach. But at the end of the day, you know, this is what a lot of these provincial games are about. It's about young players. It's about new players kind of getting that opportunity to try and make a statement, getting the opportunity to try and see, you know, can they mix it up with the big boys, you know, and it doesn't get bigger than the All Blacks. I think that's kind of the whole point, is you be able to really test yourself, be able to really see what it's like. This is as close as you're going to get playing Test rugby without playing Test rugby. And a lot of people were saying that if there was going to be a team that was potentially try and cause an upset, it was going to be the Stormers or the Bulls, and probably the sort of best placed teams really to have a go at this All Blacks. I do think the Lions could be a potential banana skin, given the fact it's a midweek fixture, and that'll make life a bit complicated for the All Blacks. We're waiting to see what the All Black side will look like. It will be named later on today, and all we really know is that Burden Barrett set start the number 10 jersey. And let's see what Yakin Ahmed can do. I mean, he's a player that seems to have everything he needs, really. You know, he's got the pace, he's got the physicality, he's got a really good kicking game. He's nice and big. He gets involved. Good ball carrying through it as well. You know, we've got a very talented generation of 10s coming through within Sasha, Liam Guillaume. You've got the likes of Yakin Ahmed. There's lots of really talented flyhalves coming through from the schoolboy structures that have very well-rounded games. And this is an opportunity for him. You know, he's been involved in the Bok camp. He's been involved in the SAA game where he got a red card and was suspended, but he scored a very nice try. So he is talk of the town. And this is a game where, you know, we always talk about players, are they ready? And I think that, you know, something like Evan Ruiz, who's not quite been able to do it at an international level, this is an opportunity for him to say, you know, I should be there. I can do this against an international team. Similarly, for example, this is where like Yakin Ahmed can answer the question, well, where is he? Is he ready for URC? Is he ready for this? Well, he goes and have a great game on Friday. You can sit there saying, well, he might be young, but maybe he is ready for this level. So that's what these players are all playing for. You know, something like a Dion Ferree, he's bringing the curtain down in his career. But imagine if you could add this feather to your cap, that you beat the All Blacks, you know, for the franchise that you have represented for years and years and years. Every single time we look at like vintage games, inverted commas, like Super Rugby back in 2012, 11, and the likes of that, Dion Ferree pops up. You know, his longevity is insane, and he keeps coming back. He keeps trying to make sure that he wants to finish his career at the Stormers on his terms. And what better way to kind of go into the final chapter within your Stormers career than being able to play against the All Blacks? You know, unlikely probably to play for the Boks again, I don't think. But he's definitely, you know, absolute Stormers legend. And this is the kind of games that you want to be able to be part of. And you'll be relishing the opportunity. So I'm excited to see what these players could do. Which players are you excited to watch? Let me know down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon. Well, there we go. That's the Stormers side, and the All Black side just coming out now. Patrick Tupeloto leading this side out, and it's a very good All Black side. Over 600 caps, by the way, in this side this evening, and plenty of experience, including a blonde Bowden Barrett these days, who gets an opportunity. First time, really, under Dave Rennie, he's been given the opportunity to try and go out and impress. So a big opportunity for him to try and impress over there. Now, we've got the Stormers coming out, and we'll be moving into the anthems, followed by the first non-Springbok related haka in over 30 years. Obviously, we had games being played here during the 1995 World Cup, which is now quite a while ago. But we're not seeing Stormers versus the All Blacks game in many a year. In fact, I've never seen an All Blacks franchise game, for example. You know, I am part of the next generation. But in terms of score predictions, people, what are we saying? How are we feeling? Get your score predictions in now. What do we say? How confident are we? Stormers fans, do we think we can get a result over here? Or do you think this is going to be a bit of a step too far? What is considered a good result for you? Inverted commas, you know, is this about, you know, just getting a few points? Is this about getting some experience out there? What do you think is the big, what is considered a success? You know, what do you look at it? If you look at this news that they say if we got X, Y, Z, we'd be happy with that. You know, what does that look like? Is it only results driven, or is it, you know what, if we can get within 10 points, for example, and the likes of that, then we consider that to be a good result as well. But we're going into the national anthem, and after that we will have a haka being performed there at the stadium. Obviously, we can't show you the exact haka, but we will be sort of looking at that and the likes of that. And when we get back, then we will have some more information for you and the likes of that. So please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Just 62 people that have liked the video. It's a Friday night, people. Friday night, big rugby. Ruben said All Blacks 45, Stormers 12. Interesting that you said that, actually, because that was my prediction. So it's pretty close. And yeah, I'm excited to see the matchups. Bowden versus Yakin Ahmed. I think, you know, Peter Lakai into the number 8 jersey because of what City ruled out. Now Evan Ruiz is going to have a go at him. What can Evan Ruiz do this evening? You know, can he go and prove Rassie Rasmussen, but can he go make a statement? And can he go and really show what he's about and keep reminding the Bok staff that he's there, that he's on the fringe, that he's going to keep grafting, keep working until he can try and cement down a spot in that Bok squad. That's what really I think a lot of these players are really pushing for. Other big names to look out for: Imad Khan, really good, nice young player in the number 9 jersey. Jonathan Roach, nice big inside centre, very experienced back 3. Warwick Galan's been a bit of hot and cold at times, but since coming back, Kachiva Diamani as well back near. I think Bashir, somebody on the Bok radar as well. But let's move into the anthems. Let's move into the haka, and then we will have kickoff. finished and done. And it is time for kickoff, people. It's finally here. The Greatest Rivalry Tour. Months and months and months of build-up, speculation about All Black sides, about what the franchise sides are going to do. Well, it's finally here. Yakeem Ahmed has got ball in hand, and it is time to see what this All Black side is going to do. But what are the points? It's time to see what the Stormer side can do. Can they give them a go? As we get underway, Yakeem Ahmed goes pretty short first up, probably a little bit of an unexpected play there, but well taken in the end, and a first touch of the ball for Patrick Tupoloto, the captain, and immediately looking to run from deep are the All Blacks. Long pass out wide, and Rico Awani back into the mix. Brought down early on by Ruan now to the right-hand side. Big carry, they're coming from Basila Tosi. Evan Rose looking to try and get over the ball. Now up quickly as Sibres and Natla. That's a nice tackle on Antonina Brown. Good hands. Bowden Barrett goes short. Peter Lakai with a half gap, and Peter Lakai goes through. Getting across there. Good tackle comes from Yakeem Ahmed. Ball pops up to Bowden Barrett. The Bowden Barrett sees a bit of space in behind. And having to go back as Leon Zas. And a bit of pressure over there. Brought down by Leroy Carter. And ball available for Imad Khan. Big carry. They're coming. He's been lifted, but needs to be put down. He gets the pop away, though. Imad Khan has decided not to kick. Probably a wrong decision, but they do still have the ball, though. Do Stormers. Bit of a nervy start for them. And all the way back it goes then. Imad Khan goes to the boot there. Needs to find a good clearance. Will find touch, but taken quickly. Thrown back inside for Bowden Barrett. Bowden Barrett looking for options. Goes for the cross kick across towards Rico Awani. It goes through the arms of Sibes Natla. Gets the offload away. Peter Lakai now. A bit of audacious rugby here at the moment on the All Blacks. Happy to throw it around and give it a go. Good carry. They're coming in from Anton Segner. Now to the right-hand side. Cordes Ratimer really trying to up the ante. That's a good tackle there on Bowden Barrett. Gets the offload away, though. Vernon Matongo completing that tackle. Antonio Brown, ball over the top. So now he needs to get across to Rico Awani. Somebody that Stormers would have played a few times. That's a nice tackle again. They do bundle him out there. One of the few players that a lot of these Stormers players would know a bit more about, Rico Awani, having played that season at Leinster. And there are obviously a couple of players in the Stormers side that have played the likes of the All Blacks. But not many, to be honest. Not many. Big shout out to here saying, just to remind about the email, we're actually talking about it at halftime here. We're going to actually announce it to the masses at halftime. And yeah, massive shout out to you and for that announcement that we're going to make at halftime. Now to the left-hand side. First, oh, that's a big tackle on Jonathan Roche. He's lined up and a double tackle on him. Been likened to Damien Delendi has Roche. Big ball carrying, big bulky inside centre. And Warwick Lunt now gets the kick away. It looks like a pretty good, that's a very, very well way to kick. It's a brilliant kick actually from Warwick Lunt. We're taking it quickly though. A bit of space down for Leo Carter. Oh, and that's a little bit of comes back inside. Good tackle there from Dion Ferree. We still actually haven't really had a proper line shift from the All Blacks. They've taken it too quickly. Yep. Now Tupoloto, ball back inside. Sejna held on there by Connor Evans. Slow ball penalty comes. Go off the feet is the call. Cortes Ratimer thinking about taking it quickly, then elects against it. And players down here, and I think it looks like it could be Yakeem Ahmed actually, who is down. But no, it's Imad Khan who's down. Can't see where. Oh, he just completely pulls out there on his knee. That's bizarre. He's not even anywhere near. He just. I guess it looks almost been like shot. That's like one of the weirdest injuries. I don't know if he's going to be able to continue. He's back up to his feet, but I don't think he's going to be able to continue. And Diewald Juvenal, who is supposed to be playing his final game for the Stormers, looks like he might be having a much longer game than probably expected. That's one of the weirdest injuries I've ever seen. Oh, he's done. His knee just completely went out from underneath him. It almost, I think he must have gotten caught in the turf. Anyway, it is a penalty for the All Blacks, so when we do resume, Beauden Barrett is going to pop this out. So Deval Duvenacher, well, it's a much longer game than he was expecting to play. I'm probably looking at 20 minutes towards the end, but he's gonna have to play a full basically 80 here. So the veteran who's playing his last game for the Stormers is a pretty ominous sign. A really good maul here from the All Blacks. Now penalty advantage. Ball's come loose and they have turned it over the Stormers, but illegally so it's another penalty. Straight back out goes Beauden Barrett. Right, so second attempt here from the All Blacks, trying to get the first points on the board. To the front of the lineup they go. Good take there coming from Parker. Whilst yet again. I think this could be try time. They're just short there now. Penalty advantage once again. And they're going to be over and they're going to be awarded the try. The All Blacks was taking them just 5 minutes, man. It's the big man, Samasoni Takawau, who controls it at the back and eventually gets over. And the penalty advantage was for the Stormers players getting beyond the ball and putting it down, is what the referee had said. Well, for all that the All Blacks are all about flair and keeping the ball alive, and we have seen that so far early on. It is the power game that gets them over early on, and this is also, I think, international packs are a different breed. They really, really are, and that's why I think when a lot of people are looking at this whole tour as a concept, they're also talking about where do some of the local sides, where can they try and compete? And the big thing was kind of which local side has the pack to try and match the All Blacks, because that'll be the side that can give them the best go. It's do you have the pack to try and match them? Because if you don't, well, then you're always going to be struggling at the end of the day. That's we see it with the box. It's all about matching them up front, because there's no point having a tremendous backline, the likes of that, if you don't have a pack that can match it. Right, so the first blood they're from New Zealand, and the conversion is good indeed. So after 5 minutes, New Zealand leading 7-0. And Sejna taking a pick up and go here from Takawau. The try score gets up ball to Cortez Ratama and can't bring him down. Andrew Hugo Fenter. Clean break here for Cortez Ratama. Kalant makes the tackle. Now to the left hand side, Beauden Barrett goes himself. Beauden Barrett, a bit of space, puts it onto the boot. Oh, Beauden Barrett straight through. Has he got the pace? Oh, not quite. The ball's come over. And I think that's, he's claiming it is Josh Morby. But I tell you what, Beauden Barrett, that's baller stuff from Beauden Barrett. The chip ahead for himself, the little dirty grubber. Can't quite get there to finish it off. We're going to have a check here. I don't think he's grounded it. He said no. Josh Morby's also, I don't think, that confident that he's gotten it. So, but Andrew Jackson, the TMO, is going to have a look. I think it's knocked on, yeah. I think we'll go back for our first scrum of the evening, to be honest. That would be my guess. So we are going to have a scrum. We are going to go back for that knock-on. It is going to be a Stormers feed. interesting moment. Again, if you talk about the packs and being able to match the packs, the likes of that, the scrum over here will be a nice contest. Because again, you want to talk to you want to sort of impress your national coach and the likes of that. Being able to match them at scrum times, that's a big way of doing precisely that. So the schoolboys are in there. I'm trying to work out what school it is, but they bought the entire starting school. That's what you like to see. That's unless that was actually I wonder if that was one of the competitions they were running to get basically a school there. Penalty for the Stormers. Well, there we go. The first real thing that they can celebrate so far. And it's Tossie who's been penalised over there. He's a bit frustrated, you can see, but that's a nice moment from the Stormers. And Vernon Matongo. Couple of scrum penalties over there will go a long way towards them finding a little bit of parity in this game. Aki Ahmed makes sure, does find touch. Very nice crowd in at the DHL Stadium. I don't think we might necessarily see these crowds for the likes of the Lions games and the Bulls game. I'll tell you why, because there's 4 games in Gauteng and the ticket prices are hefty. They are very hefty. And the ball goes to Hachiba Daimoni. Now it's almost going for running more. And they've got the penalty advantage for collapsing. So good work there. And they get the penalty. That's a nice thing. That's good 2 consecutive wins now. Penalty at scrum time. Get further upfield. Penalty now at the line-out. And Yakin Ahmed will be able to advance them even further down the park. So that's how you build a bit of a momentum. Just a couple of wins. Another good line. Once again, going for the rolling more. This time, the All Blacks better set. So they haven't. Usually, once has already come as the call. And breaks away. Does Andre Hugo Fenton. That's a nice catch. Still going. It's Andre Hugo. That's Dion Ferree. Still going. It's Dion Ferree. Into the 22 he goes. Quick ball from Duvenacher. To Chiba Daimoni. Gets away from 1. That's a really nice carry as well. Look at the diving pass from Duvenacher. Goes short. Ball comes loose and kicked ahead. And we're going to go back. I think there could be a penalty advantage. Oh, go back for the diving pass from Duvenacher. Run it back. Roll it back. Roll back the years. Dion Ferree coming up on 40. And that is a carry of someone who just is just determined that he's going to leave absolutely everything out there tonight. Right, well, now they're in the red zone. Are the Stormers? Can they make this count? That is the question. Penalty advantage once again. So even Roos comes off the back of that maul. That's the 4th penalty in a row, in fact, for the Stormers. So All Blacks discipline letting them down at the moment. And pick up and go straight through goes Dion Ferree. Pick up and go now. Evan Roos coming around the corner. I'll tell you what, I mean, the DHL Stadium is going to absolutely erupt if they can score a try and get on level terms. Duvenacher to the left-hand side. Vernon Matongo, a bit upright in the tackle, pops it up. Making yards, though. You can hear the crowd. Once again, the diving pass. Yakin, the next shot of the road, just short. Lakai on the ball. Told to leave it. Pick up and go goes Evan Roos. Still penalty advantage here for the Stormers. Duvenacher looking for options. Goes back to Yakin Ahmed. He goes for the contestable. It's Sanatla up against Owani. Oh, no, it goes into the hands of Sanatla. He goes over, but has he gone forward? I think it might have gone forward first. We're going to have a check. We're going to have a check, but I think it's a knock-on. We'll go back for the penalty and nothing else. I think we might have actually already come back for the penalty, to be honest. Tim Dunn saying it's going to be a good game, no matter the result. Well, so far we've been treated to a pretty good game. And K3 Andy saying, watching Dion 40, I feel so unfit. I like to think of it as I've still got so many years to get to my prime. You know, I'm staring down the barrel of 30 in a few weeks, and if he's doing that at 40, I've got years ahead of me, really. So I mean, it's all about how we look at these things. You know, as I said, I like to think that I just haven't quite gotten there yet. That's what I keep telling myself. They are having a check here. I don't think I think this has gone forward from Sinatla first, and then he's regathered and grounded. Are we seeing a potential foul play here? That could be quite interesting. Yeah, we are indeed. So having a look at the shot here from Leonard Brown on Jonathan Roach. Oh, I tell you what, it does look a bit high. Oh, it looks like shoulder to head. Oh, I tell you what. This could be could this be the game here? And it's not going to be, but you got to try and hype it up. Could this be a turning point? Jonathan Roach straightens well. Shoulder to head. Not much dipping, you know, is there mitigation? This is the question they will be asking. The TMO is asking this, Andrew Jackson, has there been foul play? That is the question. .12 is upright, and we've got head contact. It meets the yellow card threshold, and Anton Leonard Brown will go to the bin. That's not how you really endear yourself to the coaches, is it, when you're trying to fight for that inside centre position? I mean, I do think it's pretty much Geordie Barrett on lockdown, but we are going to have a yellow card over here. Again, to the bin goes Anton Leonard Brown. Right, good line up there. And they've been getting their penalty advantage with the back of line out, so the Stormers. This one looks a lot better defended, though. Going very lateral at the moment. And there we go. We've got a bit of a reshift. And then just shot! Just shot, and they're over! They are over! They've got crowd in. The Stormers hit back. And the DHL Stadium comes alive. Man in the bins. All they needed. And on the third attempt, they get their first try of the evening. Andre Hugo Fenter was sent back from the Bok camp to go and add some value to the Stormers and scoring the tries, adding value. That is the definition of adding value. I mean, it looked at one stage like it was kind of not really going anywhere, and then just all of a sudden they came around the corner and they were right on the doorstep. Yakin Ahmed, first match in a Stormers jersey. Bang straight down the middle. I mean, we know this. The man's built for this, isn't he? And after 12 minutes, 40 minutes, the Stormers are level. Who had that on their bingo card, eh? Some of the comments, and Nadsbrink says, proud to be a Stormers supporter. Every player is giving their all. Never give up. We know you can turn this around. Come on, the Stormers. JP saying, should be shoulder to head. Goodbye. Kathy Andy also going with the goodbye there. Craig Morgan saying head good night, and Moment Edit says Stormers keep your heads up. Oh no, this try might be chalked off here. Surely not. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Are we gonna see this chalked off over here? They're looking to see if there is I don't know if they're looking at grounding here. I don't know if we're looking at obstruction here for Neertli and Bashir as they break away, where they're trying to say that's obstruction. So here we go. This is a better angle. So basically, they're pinning out to the left-hand side, and they kind of come off it. And they're looking to see if there's potential obstruction. So Takawai initially hits Neertli Bashir. I think that's what... ironically, they didn't even ask for it. They didn't even... The All Blacks weren't even complaining about it. Well, how's this? The try is not going to stand, but the All Blacks are going to have another man in the bin. So basically, number 6 was holding the player in illegally. So he said that's now multiple penalties, and as a result, so they say that there was indeed obstruction, and now we're going to have the yellow card there as well. So it's 2 yellow cards. Yeah, so 2 yellow cards down. You're not going to be able to see me at this rate. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So the try. The main thing is the try's been chalked off. So no try is the call from the ref, because of the obstruction. But in during that whole build up, there was illegal action from Simon Parker, and as a result, he's gone to the bin as well. So down to 13 men now, the All Blacks, which means that it's try. You score a try here, get yourself a restart, and now you've got to really. And then tell you what, that's not a looking ball either. This time, surely they're going to go over. And they do. And they do. Stormers on second attempt finally get the grounding. And it's Diofari, the lad. Brunners and Coker's got a try. I mean, he's playing like a man possessed so far. And now he's on the scoreboard. That's really, really, really good. Slightly more to the right-hand side, but absolutely no issues. I mean, K3 Andy called it. He said he's a sharpshooter, and that is a proper conversion. Further to the right, he split the poles. Yellow card, good news for the All Blacks. The yellow card for Antonina Brown will remain a yellow card. Same majority of the force goes through the body, so not a high level of danger. Oh, Dion Ferry on the scoreboard. Things you love to see. Right, but 13 men still on the park here though, for the All Blacks. So this is going to be a very, very big opportunity for the Stormers. Got to try and keep ball in hand and having a go. Evan Roos takes it into contact. Ball available for Duvanacher. Big thing for the Stormers here is try and get down at the end of the park there and get an opportunity to really have a go at this 13-man All Black side. Leon Zas will give chase. Knocked forward here from the All Blacks, regathered by the try scorer, Dion Ferree. To the left-hand side goes Duvanacher. Leon Zas gets away from one, brought down by Cortes Ratiman. Leroy Cott, in fact, it's actually the steal was good, says the referee. But they're going back for the knock on there. It was a good steal. The referee, in fact, said it was a great steal, even for Billy Proctor. So last time we had a scrum, the Stormers got a penalty. And so at the moment, winning some of the small battles here, the Stormers actually, after that initial flurry where it was pretty one-sided. And the All Blacks keeping ball in hand and looking very, very dangerous. It's all sort of calmed down a little bit since then. Penalty advantage here, and to the right-hand side goes Watchalong. Oh, pick up around there. That's very good hands. Great hands. Comes back inside. Now to the left-hand side. Not a best pass, but well taken there from Connor Evans. Lined up, though, Peter Lakai. Makes a big tackle. Now it's a pretty poor pass, and they're going to go back for the penalty. Intercepted by Billy Proctor inside ball. Rico Wani was away. But, yes, we'll go back for the initial penalty from the scrum time. So I tell you what, looking better and better here from the Stormers. 7-7 as we approach 20-minute mark. Well, Vernon Matongo is currently having his way with Pasila Tosi, and if Vernon Matongo is doing a big job on you, then wait till the likes of Akira Steenkamp have a go. Let alone if we are ready to release the ox. Akin Ahmed needs to find a good clearance, does. Doesn't look like a play on debut at the moment, Yaki. And look at those penalties. I mean, 2 penalties early on, and then 6 so far since then. All back to back from the All Blacks. So, and penalties often, I mean, they can very often be just a sign of pressure, really. So the Stormers have done well to be able to turn the tide a little bit and put the pressure back on the All Blacks themselves. Good line up there, and that's also what you need to do. Things like that. Nice solid line out. Get your set piece, and there's another penalty advantage. All Black fans probably won't be particularly happy with what they're seeing, whether they're disagreeing with the referee or just saying that the discipline at the moment not good enough. I think Arsenal was just told to use it. They didn't use it, however, they will go back for the penalty advantage. The Storms with another penalty. I mean, I tell you what, John Dobson will be like a child on Christmas watching this at the moment because the Stormers are doing absolutely everything right. 2 All Black players on the bench in the sin bin. Stormers on the front foot, and a try here for the Stormers, and they go ahead. Or they go contest for the line out, and they do contest, and it's not forward. So that's frustrating, just as we'll see in the praise. The Stormers make their first mistake, really, in a while. Now Tossie, he's having a tough time at scrum time. But the All Blacks, to turnover possession, 10 metres away from their own try line. Cortes Ratman, rather, will take it upon himself to find a good clearance, and he will find touch just outside the 22. In fact, Holly Davidson's going a bit further than that. Interestingly, by the way, we've got a 20-year-old fly half in Yakin Ahmed playing this game, and then on Tuesday, we'll have another 20-year-old fly half when Vusi Moyo will take to the field for the Sharks up against the All Blacks. So, I mean, how amazing for those two to be able to get those kind of that kind of experience. Pretty looking running more from the Stormers. I mean, if they win this game, by the way, Stormers, it'll absolutely break the internet. Now, Divanaka to the right hand side. Oh, it goes to the boot. Coming through was Leland Zas. And goes a bit loose. Falls away back to Billy Proctor. Ivana Jova says the referee. A great kick that from Billy Proctor. The Stormers will have another go, though. Not out of the woods just yet, or the All Blacks. Again, they're now down to, back to 14 men. So I think Antonina Brown should be coming back very shortly. Yeah, in fact, he is indeed back. But just Simon Parker now in the bin. They're still not too back to a full contingent. Another 90 seconds left on that card. Now to the right-hand side. I mean, once again, goes to the boot. Leland Zas, once again on that shoulder, will compete just outside 22. It's well weighted by, I mean, knocked back from Zas into the hands of Andrew Hugo Fenter. Ball available for Duvanacher. Nearly Bashir puts his head down. Quickly here from Duvanacher. Now Galant. Shows and goes, gets to do the one. Not a lob pass to Sanatla. Sanatla takes two to bring him down. Good work there from Galant. Nice little show and go there from him. Now for Tongo, he's having, what a game he's having at scrum time, Vernon Matongo. Now to left-hand side. Pops it out. Oh, it's a bit of a... It's dropped from Warwick Galant. I would have claimed the grabber personally. Big tackle coming off the ball, by the way, by Roach. Still playing the knock-on advantage. That should be advantage over. Bowden Barrett almost caught in the ball. Not too many options. Goes to the right-hand side. Antonio Brown's come back. He'll be feeling a bit fresher. Still 22. Peter Lakai goes himself. That's a nice tackle coming from Hachiro Daimani. Not an area of his game we really know him for, but that's a nice solid hit. Ratiman, that's a good tackle as well. Very, very good physicality on display here from the Stormers. Driving George Bauer back. Now the left-hand side, pretty poor pass on the bounce to Rico Awani. Not looking to kick it out of the All Blacks. At this stage, probably to their detriment. Pick ball here now. Hakeem goes himself. Oh, looked a bit high there. The referee says no shoulder. Pick up around the corner goes Evan Lewis though. Pops it short to Tima Darmani. Goes straight. Gets he's looking for the pass. Loses the ball forward. Leonard Brown will clean up. It's a great, and he's almost just back yourself. He was looking for the pass, and then, yeah, you can see the frustration because you're so busy looking for the pass. Then he realized he slipped the tackle, and then couldn't quite hold on to the ball. Could have achieved it, Armani. Keithu Annie says, Kalant is so all or nothing, either an absolute masterclass player or atrocious. I mean, he literally saw exactly that in the space of 10 seconds, where we saw him show and go, get into space, get the offload away, and they work their way back and he drops it. So, yeah, in terms of like a maverick player type of thing, that is exactly what he just showed over there. So in terms of, remember that in terms of the schedule, the fixtures to come, Durban on Tuesday, and then we land in Gauteng next week. We have got the Bulls on Saturday, so we'll be on the ground with the All Blacks from Wednesday, Thursday, which is pretty exciting. All that sort of content coming towards onto the channel. So make sure if you are new, please do smash like on it. Please do subscribe as well to the channel. As I said, lots of cool content coming up. So we've had 24 minutes, 7-7. I didn't expect it to be necessarily be a complete blowout. What I kind of learned from like British and Irish Lions tour, which is our only real reference point, and it's not a great reference point because these are players who played a bit more together, obviously being in the same sort of squad. So in many ways, the All Blacks are more gelled, albeit you've only got one nation to pull. But the big thing that I found is that when you come to these franchise games, a lot of the franchise teams can get up for those first 10, 15, 20 minutes. You know, if you can't get up for this kind of game, what can you get up for? The issue comes kind of as the game goes on, how much you can hang on. Because that's when, and there's a penalty for the All Blacks, and it's the first time that Priscilla Tossi's got the better of Werner Matongo. So 2-1 at the moment, that scoreline reads. He's not very happy as Werner Matongo. But that, I think, is the big test, really, is when things start to get tough in the second half, does the doubt creep in? Can you keep that momentum? Can you continue to believe? And I think that self-belief is a big one as well. Because at the moment, you'll be thinking, well, we can draw with the best of them. As Leo Carter takes it into contact. Nice tackle there from Yakin Ahmed. Tubeloto, the captain. Ball available for Cortez Ratama to the left-hand side. Sejna. Now to the right-hand side, to Blotto, to Bowden Barrett. Out to Billy Proctor. Billy Proctor to Daniel Lennon Brown. Long pass out to Leo Carr. Bit of space out wide for Leo Carr. Comes back inside. Sativa Daimani does there. Makes the tackle. Dylan Sass beaten. Now big carry there from Priscilla Tosso. Almost getting him past his opposite man scrum time. Werner Matongo. Now the All Blacks on the front foot. Tikawao. But now a bit of space out wide. Corey goes to South. Now, he loses it forward. It's Billy Proctor. And it could have been try time from the All Blacks had he managed to hold on to that. And that was ominous sign. So it's a well-timed drop. Morby ball over the top, and this is into the bread. I mean, he really should be catching that. Should Billy Proctor? It's not exactly into his hands, but it's close enough where he should really be holding on to it. So he'll be a bit disappointed, a bit frustrated by that, Billy Proctor. Have a reset here at scrum time. If there was ever time for Werner Matongo to try and regain that that dominance that he's had earlier on, this would be it. Just over 11 minutes left in the half, and the Storms would be desperate to make sure. 14-7 at half time. I think they'd take the thing, they'd run and grab that. Well, there it is. What did I say? If there's ever a time to win the penalty, that was it. And it's exactly what the Stormers just did. That's a huge... Werner Matongo, 3-1 now at Tossie. What a battle this is becoming. That's a huge moment to be on the doorstep and have a full international pack up against you, and you go and win that penalty. Bernard Matongo I'll tell you what, this is how you make a name for yourself. He's a talented player, Bernard Matongo. Not really on a lot of conversations, but he's a talented player. And this, as I said, you do it now. That's where you can really make a name for yourself. Ivanako lifts so high and gives chase to Snyder. He gets it wrong there, but it actually works out perfectly for him. Awkward bounce. He's still going. He's lost his footing a bit. The techers from Sanatla just desperately trying to keep it in. And I mean, it's eventually got out inside the 22. So from a territory game point of view, that'll work for them. It's bizarre. He went too early, did Sanatla, and Bowden Barrett ended up just pulling out of it. Then it's allowed to bounce, and Sanatla gets there first. Bumps off Rico Awani. Still going, and then he desperately just tries to reach. Oh, the ball over the top there from the All Blacks isn't good enough, but it does fall back to Segner. So not a good lineup, but they've managed to survive that. Forty's Ratiman now. Ball slices off the boot, and no, it's not a bad kick. Not a bad kick. True set. No, the screen definitely does not say 77-36. It is 7-7. That is the score, and then that is the timer. Yes, it's definitely not. Definitely not 77-30. It'll be interesting if it were, wouldn't it? And then you're now busy raging because you can't read the screen. Imagine you can't read, and now you're getting hacked at the person because you can't read. That's a lot of projection happening there, Chief. Andrew Hugo Fenter on the 10-meter line, ball to the left-hand side. Duvenaka, good pass there in the front foot here. Goes Jonathan Roach. That's a nice big collision. Now to the left-hand side, Hugo Fenter. Release from the back camp. Now, but all the top for Duvenaka, and after it is Natla. Oh, it's an awkward bounce to the ball, and is it going forward? Natla eventually grabs it just outside of the 22. Stormers continue to have possession. Ball available as the ball pops out towards Galant, and he pops it up to Connor Evans. Then it comes completely loose. Backwards is the call. I don't even know. There's about 55 knock-ons in there. Eventually, it's a penalty. I think they're going to say the Stormers players were ahead of the ball. They're all complaining about it and saying, "What about that?" But the referee having none of it. Keith Ioannis says, how long before we see the Boks adopt that tack at fake jump to put the catch off? Well, I suppose it worked, you know. So evidently, if you're ever up against Bowden, maybe that's the way to do it. Maybe that's the way to do it. Captain saying, Stormers have a chance if the All Blacks stay in the bin all game. Well, I mean, they'll take taken here from quarters Rattam. They're not mucked around a lot, have they, from the All Blacks point of view. They've taken them nice and quickly. Now Tossie needs to do something in the loose because he's getting handed to it at scrum time. Quick ball here. Leonard Brown goes short to Segner. Peter Lakai. Netting for Shear. Makes a good tackle. Then out to the right hand side there. Josh Morby straightens, got back on the inside. Down by Leon Zas. Segner now. Just shy of the 10-22. Now the left hand side. Leonard Brown pops short to Billy Proctor. Billy Proctor shows and goes. Shoulder says the referee. Leonard Brown now puts his head down. Brought down by Ruan now. Storm's captain this evening. And penalty at the breakdown for holding on. And this is what I talk about. You know, stay in the fight here. Those moments, the turnovers, the scrum penalty. Oh, 34 minutes. I mean, could they go into half-time level? Oh, he's bringing out the good old... for the banana kick there was Ahmed. Oh, that's a lost art, isn't it? Banana kick. I just remember being at Ellis Park and when Carlos Spencer had just come to the Lions, and all of a sudden we seeing Alton with the banana kick and Carlos with the banana, King Carlos. Oh, what a time where we just had absolutely nothing at the Lions, just vibes. Oh, excuse throw from under Hugo Fenta. How frustrating is that? Well, maybe it's tactical because I know that Vernon Matongo's got Tossi's numbers. They're like, well, we'll give away the scrum, get the penalty, and carry on. Donovan says, this match makes me think of Squid Rugby's latest video of how good is the worst block team. Pretty bloody good is the answer. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. We've spoken about, and it's interesting because we always talk about the depth, for example, and everybody sits there saying, oh, your depth isn't actually as good as what we think if the Boks have a bad performance. But then you have a game like this, for example, and let's say the Storm was going to beat the All Blacks. Can you imagine the conversations tomorrow from some of the Boks supporters who are already, some of us are very insufferable. Let's call a spade a spade. But this is a really, really good demonstration of the quality of the moment. But showing go, they've got his Ratama. That's a good demonstration of what he's all about. And now the All Blacks, as if to try on cue, show what they're all about. I've really sprung into action. Yeah, Cordy's Ratama, the left-hand side, goes to Kawau, first try scorer of the game. Achieva Daimani holding on. He's had a bright game. Vernon Matonga getting involved. Now to the right-hand side goes Ratama. Pops it up towards Bowden Barrett. Now soft hands. Simon Parker brought down. Back on the field here. The yellow card earlier. Now Leonard Brown. Now the left-hand side. Ratama. Nice big hit there, but good defense here from the Stormers. In fact, they've actually lost a bit of ground. Take a while. Ball up to... has to go back and fetch to Zero Carter. Not as accurate as they'd like to be so far, the All Blacks. A couple of silly mistakes. Took a while. That's good hand. Much better. Oh, then as I say that, ball goes behind the player and out. So, yeah, it's the pressure game at the moment from the Stormers really working, and this All Black side looking sloppy. Christian Van Furen saying, this is Christian Van Furen, reckons go Stormers 24-17 for a win. And Vegas, how's the game for the Stormers? Well, so far they're having an absolute game. And ironically, I think most Stormers fans will be sitting there saying, how were we at points in the URC pretty poor? And now we've pulled up this whilst missing half our side who are over in Argentina. So at the moment, All Blacks looking sloppy. Stormers are staying in the fight. I think that's probably the best thing. I mean, and dominating certain parts of it. Dion Free, a bit of a stinger there. Getting a bit of treatment. John Dobson. You will not find a more nervous watcher in the world than John Dobson, the Stormers coach. I think it's like a weird like punishment that he just gives himself to watch these games. He always it's a good. I mean, I don't think he probably had much hair at the best of times, but he lost that very quickly, and I'm sure it was through the stress of watching games. And we get up there, they start in the lineup of the All Blacks, and Posse goes, well, he doesn't go to Rico Wani. I burst through the middle, goes Rico Wani. The pace from him comes across, big bumps off the likes of Yakin. Ball comes up back, and ball is available though, so All Blacks now 10 meters out. A couple of players over the top though. Have they managed to win it? No. It's against Kalan saying hands beyond the ball, says the referee. Penalty against the All Blacks. Cordy's Ratama has he taken it quickly. I think he has taken it quickly. Goes to Bowden Barrett. Goes to Billy Proctor. Billy Proctor, long pass out wide. And Simon Parker. He's over. Can he get grounding? I think he has got grounding. Yeah, he has got grounding there. Well, there it is. And Cortis Ratama, that's credit to him for taking the quick tap, identifying the space. They went wide quickly. And Simon Parker's a big man to have out in the wing. It's a bit of Peter Steph Totoy-esque when you have that kind of sort of space. Yeah, they just didn't have the numbers there. It's not had to commit. And then a big hit coming from Daimani. He's desperately trying to go on for the ball, but not been able to hold on to him. And Simon Parker, as the initial hit then comes from Evan Lewis, just twisting the tackle, manages to get the ball into the right hand and goes down. Frustrating time to concede, just before half time, literally a minute and a bit. Now Burton Barrett to kick for... Oh, it's great. That's a great kick. My goodness. That's gone straight through the middle from the blonde Barrett. The Cape Crusaders in full force. I mean, I don't always agree with the concept, but it must be pretty epic. And I was saying it must have been an interesting time because a lot of your inverted commas, what we call the Cape Crusaders, all the Cape Townians that support the All Blacks are also like Viepia, Yoleka, then till I die Stormers fans. So it also must be such a difficult decision that you do support. Like, for example, come the Test match, they will very happily support the All Blacks. But some people almost they are more aligned to their local side, their franchise, than their national side. So that's the interesting debate that I think some of them probably would have had to have themselves. Anyway, 14 points to 7, a few seconds to go before half time. And the Stormers have turned it over, actually, so maybe they might yet have the last say. Leon Zas comes inside. The hooter does go. Stephen Archer to the right-hand side. Roger Smith to Warwick Land, first receiver. Warwick Land shows and goes. Gets the offload away in contact to Connor Evans. I tell you what, even a penalty, you take the 3 and go 4 points in behind. And that's, well, he's going to go for the drop goal. Yakin Ahmed has pulled it to the left. Audacious. I don't mind it. I don't mind a little bit of what can we do. And you can see Ronald go straight to him and says that's fine. I think it's worth having a pop, to be perfectly honest. I don't think anything wrong with Yakin having a go. At the end of the day, it was kind of a bit of a bonus attack. There was not much on it. They weren't really moving forward. So by all means, have a pop. Have a pop. So half time, people. Well, what a half that was. I feel like it took a while. I mean, yeah, it's almost 5-8. So it was a long half, couple of injuries in there. Big worry was the Imad Khan. It was such a weird freak injury. He wasn't even anywhere near contact. Just I think his boot just got weirdly caught in the in the turf. So yeah, interesting half. So there's some of the stats, by the way, if you want to look at it at exactly where it is. And possession-wise, very, very even between the two sides. But the big thing over there, I think, is the scrums. It doesn't quite show the penalties, but Stormers have had a really, really good scrum. And very, very strong at the set-piece time. And I always say that if your set-piece is strong, then I think everything else can kind of be built on that. Which is a huge, and that's kind of what the Boks do at the end of the day, don't they? They really kind of bank on the set piece to kind of build on that. Now we're going to go to a bit of a break, and an interesting news, if you might have missed it, that you'll see over here, is that the Sharks have actually named their side to take on the All Blacks come Tuesday, and there's an interesting player that a couple of people might even recognize that has been selected. So I want to show you exactly who that player is and we're talking about, because it is very much worth the news. Because what we're going to see on Tuesday is a former All Black legend of the game. Or he's going to have the opportunity to take on the All Blacks, because this man over here has been named in the 23 to face the All Blacks on Tuesday, and his name is Ma Nonu. Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Sports. The Sharks have gone and done it. Ma Nonu is officially part of the Matchday 23 to face the All Blacks in Rugby's Greatest Rivalry clash next week Tuesday between the Sharks and the All Blacks. And it was an interesting idea or possibility that presented itself when the Sharks announced the signing of the veteran player. I'm not sure any people actually expected it to happen, and yet it will indeed happen. And it's not a particularly strong Sharks side, very much youngster driven, but what an interesting little subplot that it is to the match, that the player who won World Cups in the black of the All Blacks will take on the black of the Sharks to take on the All Blacks. And I'd love to go and see how many times, if ever, we have seen a player play against their home nation in a tour match like this, because it really is a very unique situation. Before we get into the main team and speak about exactly who has been selected and who has not been selected, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. This is the 23 that has been named by J.D. Peterson, and as mentioned, very much full of youngsters, a couple of big players, but far from a full strength Sharks side, which we knew was always going to be the case with lots of players involved with the box. Good to see that some players have been released from the box and will feature, but some big absentees in the form of no Bongi Mbonambi in that number 2 jersey, no Maxwell Mapimpi. So those are 2 really, really big absentees, but obviously also a lot of your regular URC players missing out as well. So it's an interesting side, and it'll be interesting to sort of see what the reaction is going to be with regards to the kind of side that's been picked. I think you look at the Stormers side this evening, and it is pretty much probably as strong as they can get within the circumstances. Looking at the side that the Lions are probably set to put out against the All Blacks, also very much a URC full strength side. This is very much a bit of a combination. So if you look at the side, in the front row, it is Nima Rusa, Edwin Swart, and Vincent Koch in the front row. How much they'll need the likes of Vincent Koch to stand up. You then got Hendrik Stassen and Emil van Heerden. So it's a pretty inexperienced tight 5 overall, quite young and full of sort of the young up-and-coming players. The good news for them, though, is very experienced loose trio in Pepsi Buthelezi, Monich Tuka, and Nick Hatton, who will captain the side in the number 8 jersey. And I think we'll need to have a very good game if they are to give the All Blacks some sort of a bit of a go. Then if you look at the back line, it's a decent back line. This is where I think it's a bit more probably exciting. When you've got Bradley Davis next to Vusi Moyo, big pressure. Now Vusi Moyo is coming in here as a test match player. He'll be expected to run and guide this back line and to sort of see how he can translate his experience in the Bok camp into the Shark side. The main thing I think for us is that we get to sort of see where he is, and this is the exciting thing even this evening, with Yaki and Ahmed. These are 2 young players, under 20 players, who one was at the World Cup or the World Championship, one missed out on the World Championship, but that kind of shows you the age group level they are at. So these games against the All Blacks is a bit of a mini test match in terms of you are playing against test players. You are playing against a test team. It might not be a test match, but it's as close as you're going to get, really. It's and you get to play for your franchise, but you get to test yourself. So that's the whole thing. It's all set up for the All Blacks to win. What can you do to change that? And what can you do to sort of really stand up? So similarly, for example, youngsters like Alita Besta, Lorenzo Julius, Zekatelo Siyaya back from concussion. Those are really exciting young players who have got big Springbok ambitions. A big miss was Nodiaka Williams, who misses out due to injury. So, that over there, for example, is a really big miss on the team sheet. Murray Costa, Donovan Don. Donovan Don's a player who has not really had much of a franchise career. Obviously done very good things in the 7 circuit, bit of a Currie Cup legend at a stage, and has had a very interesting journey to where he is. Starting on the wing, though, he'll be a bit of an unknown to a certain degree. And then off the bench, you've got Leon van Wyk, Rambo, Quebeca, Simbiwe, Ingobesi. Then you've got Vincent Tuka, Matramau, very, very talented player. Ivan van Zyl, Leon Guillaume, and Mar Nanu. So what a combination of a Springbok in Vincent Tuka and Ivan van Zyl, former Springbok. Well, he never really former Springbok, but played quite a few years ago, but very talented and a big signing, I think, for the Sharks. You've then got the likes of Leon Guillaume, Matramau, very talented youngsters, and then you've got the experience of one of the best centers, arguably the best inside center of all time, to come off the bench. And the fact that, Lorenzo Julius, and that's the whole story they've been kind of peddling, is going to be a really cool feature on Tuesday. A lot of reaction, though, is that this has all been one big publicity stunt, the whole Manani signing, for exactly this reason. And that, this was kind of the main reason he's come over here to get this opportunity. Now, he will be here for the rest of the year from the sounds of it. It is a short-term contract. I don't quite think it's a one-match-and-done contract. I really hope not. That kind of makes it a bit pointless. But a lot of people sort of saying that, has this now watered down? It was this literally a case of, oh, cool, we can do something cool. Is this a big publicity stunt? They've had the rebrand of the badge. Now they've named Nanu a day later in the side, take on the All Blacks. It's probably the biggest rugby story right now. And they get to do it at a time when they've done a rebrand, the likes of that. So a lot of people talking about the fact that this could be a very big marketing spin. But I genuinely think that there are rugby reasons to having a Nani around your squad, providing that we do see the value post this match. I don't mind him playing. A lot of people are saying that this should be an opportunity for the youngster. I do think it's quite a cool story. An opportunity for him to play against the All Blacks. It is very unique. And equally, I think how cool to be able to have the insight from him going into the match to say, all right, guys, when we see the haka, this is what it's all about. This is what to expect. He's going to face the haka. How incredible is that? Martin is going to face the haka. So it's a really, really interesting position to be in, and really exciting to see how this all sort of plays out. What are your thoughts? Good thing, bad thing? Are you in for it? Are you out for it? Let me know down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve, and I'll chat to you soon. Right, so what a half that was. And I tell you, it's 14-7. The All Blacks in the lead. You expect the All Blacks to be in the lead, but I don't think we probably expected it to be so even in the first half, and arguably for a lot of the half, one-sided, to a certain degree. I mean, I said if we looked at the stats that we were looking at earlier, and possession pretty even, and I think the big thing over here is that John Dobson will be telling his players, trust yourselves, believe in yourselves. You guys are. Or you're in this game. You are in this game. I think that's the big thing. It's a case of 40 minutes. Give it your all. Can you do something special? So let's go to some of the comments. And Captain Faithers Wood, said Stormers are playing very well. If they can keep it within 15 to 20 points, that is very impressive. Yeah, I won't talk about my score because I had them losing by quite a lot. Born H001 said, if the All Blacks can't scrum the Stormers B team, I don't see them having a good tour. Francis says, how much do we suck? There are 13 players in the field. We're going for high kick. You should watch our Rugby Unlocked episode. Because we did that in our first thing. We spoke about why we go to why the box kick and where do we kick and what's the purpose of the kick. We cover exactly that. And Jason has said, the Stormers doing bomb kicks 25 minutes from the trial and everyone in New Zealand were laughing. I wonder how many people were laughing when they were level until 38 minutes against the Stormers B team. Yeah, this is the thing. How much were you laughing when you're getting decimated in the scrum time? Putting out the boxing gloves. I don't even know why I'm even fighting for the Stormers. I'm a Lions fan. Come that Tuesday, best believe the gloves will be out. K3 Ann says, Noni got a long-lost SA grandparent, ? Get him in the green jersey for one of the games versus New Zealand. Would be great fun. James gets says, glad to see the Kiwis have learned how to scrum again. Oh, wait. Fair. And guys, I've got some pretty cool news. Got some very, very cool news. And you guys need to make sure that you go and join our members club. And there's very good reason why you got to go join our members club. Because one of our amazing members, Tahir Ram, who's been around here for forever, he has decided to donate 2 tickets to the Box versus the All Blacks at Ellis Park on the 22nd of August. How phenomenal is that? And in order to be able to eligible to win those tickets, you got to be part of the members club. So go right now and join the members club. It is the pinned comment over there. It's also the QR code on the screen over there. Go and join the members club, and you can stand a chance to win 2 tickets to see the Box versus the All Blacks at Ellis Park. And I mean, how incredible, and this is where we talk about the community we've built. My man had the tickets, bought them admittedly to the wrong game, and said instead of selling them or trying to get a refund, he said he'd rather just give them across to us and see if we can give them somebody in the community, which is exactly what we're all about. At the end of the day, we are all just rugby addicts who just love the game, and that is exactly what we're all about. The fact that someone would rather give the tickets to somebody who can go and use them within the community than even try and resell them. So a massive shout out to here, because that is a very, very generous donation. So for all our members, and you'll see our members like K3 Andy, for example, they all got their little members badge and the likes of that. JP earlier on in the comments as well. They are all eligible to potentially win those tickets, 2 tickets to the game at Ellis Park. But you got to be a member to get involved. So it is the pinned comment. Go and get involved. Go and become a member. Stand a chance to win those tickets. We will be giving them away next week, Saturday, during the Bulls game at halftime. So you've got just over a week to get yourself into the members club. The link will go out onto the members only tab, and you will be drawn on the stream. We might even get a little bit of a wheel with all our members on, and somebody's going to win those 2 tickets and be able to go and watch the test match, which, again, if you see the flipping economy we're in, is pretty is pretty wild. And that's the big thing that we try to do. You know, we're doing a big push for members giveaways, because our members power this channel as much as you guys do with all your comment stuff like that. So it's all one big rugby community. And what I'm really excited about during this Greatest Rivalry Tour is we are going to see a lot of fans into the comments from New Zealand and the likes of that, and hopefully we all keep it very sanitary. We can have a couple of jabs at each other. Let's all keep it relatively sanitary. Let's keep it above board, and let's just absolutely love our rugby and enjoy the next few weeks. The players are back onto the park, by the way. Second half is coming right up. What are we thinking in terms of our final predictions? I'm going to ask the next poll, which is, can the Stormers win this game? Can the Stormers win? Question mark. It's a simple question as that. Can they win? Yes, no. Yes, no. And I think that Dave Rennie will want to see an improved performance here. Now, yes, this is not the be able to end all of the tour. You know, the test match series is really it. But at the end of the day, you not being able to beat the franchise is not a good start to proceedings. So there we go. Players back underway. So we are ready for the second half. And not traveling 10 is not a good start from Burton Barrett. So there we go. Team on the screen over there. That is the Stormers side, and that's the score, 14.7. We are underway for the second half, and what are we thinking? Where are we at? Stormers fans, I mean, you must be bloody proud. Surely, as a Stormers fan, you must be absolutely buzzing with what you have seen so far. Because to be in there with a shout, to have a chance to, for this to still be even slightly a possibility is pretty cool. And let's hope we see more franchises really give them a go, because this is exactly what we want to see in this tour. And we get a free kick, by the way. Duvenach taking it quickly, and he goes to Yakin Ahmed. Wants to run himself, gets away from Court. I tell you what, he's looked so comfortable, has Yakin Ahmed. Hasn't been able to get involved in the game as much as he probably liked, but I mean, his kicking's been pretty good for Poles as well. Well, I mean, one year was chalked off, the trial chalked off, but his up and unders have been on point. Watchalong goes up there, and one back there from Evan Ruiz. Good contest in the ground from Sanatla. Now Duvenach carrying on, by the way, as an early substitute for Emad Khan. Well, I'll tell you, it's not a great pass, but that's good hands. Keeping it himself is Khalan, probably the right option actually from him. Does actually very well in the end, does the number 15. Now Daimani. I think Daimani, we're going to have a chat about how boring his hair is tonight. He's just got the blonde hair. We had the pineapple. I mean, we had the watermelons at one stage from the man. Now, but a space out wide, Warwick Khalan seeing a bit of that space. Oh, I tell you what, he almost dropped the ball onto the medic, which wouldn't have gone down very well with the ref. But that's a brilliant kick from Warwick Khalan, identifying the space in behind there and picking it up perfectly. Brian says, I'm sitting on Heathrow Airport waiting for my flight to Cape Town. Well, I'll tell you what, my man. If you arrive and the Stormers have won, you're going to arrive to a very, very chuffed Cape Town. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what that looks like when you eventually get down. Yeah, Rebel records 28-21 to the Stormers. Jay Serrano says 60 points to the 7 All Blacks win. I mean, that's quite a second half. They're going to put on 54 points over here. But everyone talking. I've got a couple of Kiwis in the comments. I love to see it. And no, nothing. Yeah, let's have a bit of banter between the lads. Oh, here we go. We've got a substitution. So I want to see the Similani is on, and it looks like he could be on for a run now. That's a big call. Very, very big call. Dylan says, if it's not a walkover, it should say a lot about All Black game plans. Lincoln Leon says, of course, Stormers can win. They have some really good plays. Well, you're not wrong. You ain't wrong. And Stegner now brought down. And Evan Ruiz looking for the jackal there. Interestingly, we had a very interesting session earlier. We were recording some of our educational. Oh, that's a great contest from Rico Awani, but he's played the ball on the ground. Yeah, I was about to say that should be a penalty. It is a penalty. Well spotted that for Carl Dixon. Initially did very well, did Rico Awani to get there, and then came off of Sinatla, but then backwards off Sinatla too. Awani was then ahead of him. So yeah, Ruan now is off, and he's got some strapping on his knee. So when Similani's gone to out centre, his preferred position. One to see the Similani. Do. Yeah, so as you can see, that's the Stormers side. A couple of changes though. Imad Khan had to go off with an injury, and on came D.R. Duvenacher. And then in terms of your All Black side, that is the All Black side. No substitutions to anything like that since the start of the game so far. Almond going himself, and that's a nice big tackle, but the ball available for Duvenacher, pops it up for Similani. His first touch of the ball. Similani, a slippery customer, gets driven back. Duvenacher assessing his options, goes to the right-hand side. Inside ball, it's a good line being run, but while the door does get shut on RJ Smith. A quick ball from Duvenacher. Bernard Matonga goes himself, nice and direct. Back and Ahmed goes to the left-hand side. Leon Zas puts his head down. Billy Prox trying to go over the ball, but unsuccessfully. But Duvenacher goes to the left. He sees a bit of space, wants to go himself. Evan Lewis there to assist. Ball available. We need a substitute scrum off, and in comes Leon Zas to do exactly that. Cover coming here from Connor Evans. But very, very good ball retention so far from the Stormers. Now, Daimani stepping away, presents well. Ball pops up. Duvenacher to Ahmed, goes to the boot. Contest on the right-hand side there. Sinatla goes up, and Sinatla, has he been taken out in the air? He says Reckers has to, but the referee says no, and Courtney's, in fact, he has agreed eventually. Well, there we go. If you want a penalty, just ask for it, and yeah, I think it did look like there was contact in the air. Mr. Kiwi for Life says, the Box are my second team I support after the All Blacks, so I'm never biased. Well, I'm not sure about never, I mean. But interesting. I actually don't know too many Kiwis that do support the Box as their second team. I don't support the All Blacks as my second team. That's just a rivalry thing. Not to say I don't respect the All Blacks, but I think it's many ways because of them, the rivalry. I wouldn't say they're my second team. My second team, I've got a weird love-hate relationship with Italy. My lads, big fan of Scotland, Argentina. We all love Argentina. Yeah, I always think if you're gonna have a second team, you almost need to have like a bad inverted comma second team. It's kind of boring. Well, I find sometimes a bit boring having that. If you're gonna, you can't support like the two top teams in the world, which is well, you can, but then it's kind of like I like the difference that it feels to be able to support for the underdogs. I mean, I'm a Lions fan, so that comes from that as well. To be fair, Billy Proctor's getting a bit of treatment over here. Looks like a bit of a shot in his ribs. I tell you, it wouldn't be a bloody rugby match without Sweet Caroline going around the stadium. Disaster. Absolute disaster. Kate Duran says, when you're coming to watch the Six Nations game in Murrayfield, I tell you what, I need to actually sit down and plot out like the next few years worth of travel and stuff, because that is, I think my dream game, one of my dream games, Kolkata Cup, Murrayfield, Scotland, England, hearing the bagpipes, man on the roof. Yeah. Also a changer, by the way. Vernon Matonga is off, and Ntuka Kunu's on. Wow, I'll tell you what. Even on the block cam, and around the corner they go, the Stormers, looking for the rolling maul, getting it through, getting it away. I don't know where the ball is. It's gone down. Is it going to be available? No, it's going to be... No, it's ball available for Duvenacher. Referee almost blew that whistle. Now, Natalie Bashir, big hit coming from his opposite number. But the Stormers on the front foot here. Duvenacher. Connor Evans. Nice carry from him. Presents well. Pick up. Oh, no! Evan Rursa spilt it forward. Getting a bit too excited. Now the All Blacks, the counter-attack could be on. Anthony Brown has broken through the midfield. He's got options. Goes to the boot. Kalant will give chase. Rico Awane is after it. Kalant should get there first. Will get there first. Slips though, and only lands on him. He gets the offload away. The Similani has done pretty well. Just a couple of steps has bought him a bit of time, so they've managed to buy the time. 14 away says the core, and Duvanaka is going to go to the boot and just needs to find touch. Will find touch. That was almost textbook All Blacks counter attack there from within their own 5-meter line, really. '98 appearances for Benetton before Duvanaka, but they're taking it quickly once again, have the All Blacks. It's bizarre. I mean, we've actually missed seeing all their lineouts because the broadcasters aren't ready for them. Ratchima, penalty advantage over offside. Now a bit of space on Waitaka. Wow, puts his head down. Taimani makes a good tackle. He's had a good game so far today. Bauer getting involved. Cortez Rattima. Tossi. Segner, he's carried well so far this evening. Another penalty advantage here. Ball comes loose and it'll be 4. They'll go back for the penalty. Much better this from the All Blacks. Their first real opportunity in the second half to give it a go at the moment. And they need to be careful here, the Stormers, and this is what I said and I really hope that I don't go full on Aristotle and the lads, but I always think that the second halves are where your touring international sides kind of come into their own. They've got more depth on the bench usually, and now you think that they've taken the lead. They just had a really good moment. Now they're moving up to the 5-meter line. This is where they need to get a bit careful because this is where you can see the try now, and all of a sudden, you start to doubt yourselves. And when that self-belief goes, that's where scorelines can get a bit difficult. So this is where this is now. I think these are the big challenges here. The inside ball. There's a signal. It's really well worked from the All Blacks. Pick up and go. Driven back, though. Cortez Rattima goes to the left-hand side. Leonard Brown. Oh, knock on. Forward pass into the thing. I think the call might have come from the TMO because we were playing. Then all of a sudden the referee stopped it and said, no, there was a forward pass. And everyone was kind of like, huh? What is going on? So it was a bit strange, but we'll go back for that forward pass. I mean, we'll take it. The Stormers fans will take it. Yeah, I think it is very much a forward pass. It's the pass coming from Tossi. He's not had a good game. I don't think he's really up to his chance of getting into that test side come the first test in 2 weeks tomorrow. Right, big scrum needed challenge. Took up Tlunu's first opportunity to have a go at Basilo Tossi. In fact, actually, sorry, we just had the substitution, so it's not Tossi. So, I don't think he really upped his stocks to say. Now it's going to be interesting to see if Siala Luake can have a go. Some big players to come on for the All Blacks. Ethan Blackadder added to the mix. I think he's a big player. Asafa Amur is a nice player, nice big ball carrier. Caleb Clark is onto the park as well. You all know a lot about Caleb Clark. But yeah, as I said, please do smash like on the video and please do consider becoming a member of the channel. Lots of very cool things, including a MyPicks premium membership for certain levels of our members, as well as some exclusive content and giveaways. As I said, you could win 2 tickets. Oh, that's a big scrum. Oh, there's the penalty advantage as well. Instuka Tlunu's done a bit of a job there, so nearly for sure. They're going to run around themselves, the Stormers. I think they'll just take the penalty, to be honest. But Yaki Ahmed long pass out to Similani. Similani gets his hands back inside. Oh, the shot and go from Galant. Galant's dummies are wild. Look, I still think he might have had the single greatest dummy of all time. That try that the Stormers scored in the URC where they went down the blind side. He sells. I take it quickly of the Stormers. They go. Off they go. It goes up to Hugo Fenter. He's got Yakim Ahmed in the middle. He gives it away. He needs support. He pops it up for Sanatla. Sanatla comes inside. Into the 22. They go. Ball available for Evan Roos. Oh no, it's holding on. Arriving too late. Well, jeepers, what a try that would have been. And Yakin Ahmed, as he was going towards a penalty stop, noticed that the All Blacks had switched off, decided to take it quickly. That's brilliant awareness from him. And he's there as support player as well. I'll tell you what's a really nice little touch over here is this pass to Sanatli. He just waits it. Oh, I tell you, it's a good pass. I mean, it sounds like I'm microanalyzing, but even in real time, he just popped it to the perfect sort of waiting that Sanatli could run onto it. So free kick for closing the gap on the Stormers. They've also taken it quickly and decided not to go to the boot. And then Brown straightens. Ratimat to the right-hand side. Rico Arley puts his head down. Well, it's a big hit off the ground. I think that's RJ Smith. I imagine it's RJ Smith because he had lots to say afterwards. Takawawa now brought down. All Blacks on the 10-meter line inside their own half. Ratimat looking for options. Goes to the right-hand side. Bauer at first receiver. Using his hands to come through. Penalty advantage for the All Blacks. Chip over the top from Bowden Barrett. And bounces back into the hands, but we'll go back for the penalty. Yeah, Stormers' discipline's just sliding off here, and that's a big difference in the first half. First half, we're seeing the All Blacks conceding a lot of penalty because they were under lots of pressure. Now we are seeing the Stormers conceding those penalties. As RJ Smith with a good tackle initially, but then using his hands in the counter-ruck, and that was what the penalty is for. Good line of that from the All Blacks. Pops up to Cortez Ratimat. Now Caleb Clark at first receiver. Dion Fourie trying to get his hands on the ball. Dion Fourie's got his hands on the ball. Oh, Dion Fourie. You know, I don't think few things age as well as wine and Brothers himself. I mean, what a game he's had. Regardless of what the result is, a try, some really big turnovers, a couple of brilliant carries as well. He's just been an absolute pleasure to watch. One of the nice, and it's interesting because when he first came through, had a bit of cheekiness to him. One of those sort of players who would really like piss off your opposition fans. You know, he just knew he had that sort of niggle to him. But just such a nice guy and just loves the game. Absolutely loves the game. Oldest Springbok debutant ever, 35 years old. Oh, it's a great line being run by Sanatla. Sanatla going through the poles. The Stormers will level it up. What a line that is being run. The Stormers hit back and game on. That is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. The line being run there off the back of the line out. They go to the front and Duvenaka straight and bop up short. And I think it's Dion Fourie with a try assist even. You see what I mean? You can't keep him out of the game. And just like that, it was ominous signs for the Stormers. They were under a lot of pressure. They finally get themselves into a promising position. And bang. Game back on. Game back on. And, well, you know, he nailed a nice one earlier from Yakin. I mean, that was pretty straightforward, and he makes no mistake. 14-14, people, after 56 minutes. What a game we have in our hands. The pace, I mean, as soon as he makes half breaks and that clip and that kind of distance, you don't stop him with that kind of pace. Penalty advantage here for trying to collapse the maul there. Still going as this maul from the Stormers. Now, is that ball going to be available for Duvanacher? No, they're going to go back. He's frustrated because the ball was available, says Duvanacher. Just so chuffed to see, first of all, that he actually made the game, Deon Fourie. You know, obviously had a lot of injury issues, which you're always going to get to at 40 years old. But to have the kind of game he's having tonight is pretty phenomenal. And the row coming out there, the Weinberg boys are in. Big carry there over there. Duvanacher to the right-hand side. Chiva Darmani, wow, he's had a solid game today. Roach now. Connor Evans puts his head down. Wants to get his hands dirty. Yeah, ball pops out. Ah, it's been lost forward by Similani. Bit of a miscommunication between him and Yakin. Yeah, you can just see. I don't think it was kind of caught him in the middle between who was going for. It wasn't quite to Yakin. I mean, it wasn't quite to Similani, and Similani not able to hold on to it. And again, that's a bit of chemistry thing as well. A lot of these guys playing together for the first time as well. Oh, Ethan Blackadder's on here, by the way. Now, so fun fact: did you know that on the former one of the articles there, former tour when the All Blacks were here, his father played for Boerland, I think. And now Ethan Blackadder on for the Stormers, and free kick here for the All Blacks. So tapping go from Peter Lakai, then a Brown, looking to go himself. Now to the left-hand side. Blackadder's first carry over there. Now Barrett goes short. A reminder, people, and I'll put the link up in about 5 minutes. We are going to be doing a player rating show after this. I tell you what, speaking of player ratings, Anthony Brown, since coming back from that yellow card, cheaper, that's a big hit. Comes straight through to Net, and he's forced a knock on. That's a huge, and now a space for Leland Zas. Shoulders to the referee. Daimani puts onto the boot there, goes Similani, and I tell you what, it's a bit of a race, and he's just going to get there. Devin Russ thought he might have gotten there first. And I think Sam Derry's gotten there. I don't know if they're going to have a look. But so soft from Similani. Just drops the ball into his boot so quickly. He does get there to Sam Derry, but tell you what, that was on a knife edge. Mr. Hoppy says, what an ugly game of rugby. No wonder Rugby League New Zealand Australia is on the rise. If you can't enjoy this, I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know. I really don't need to see, it's allowed to bounce. Never allowed the ball to bounce. On the bounce to... he goes straight through! Tip over the top from Ahmed, and now off the Lost forward off Bowden Barrett. Comes loose. Space to the right hand side. Kalant with the signature. Oh, now the ball goes loose. It's all kind of, I think it was double knock. I thought it was a double knock on. Nice little move, nice little moment there from Yakin Ahmed. And on that note, Keto Annie said Yakin does not look like he's making a debut. It was ridiculous for the junior box. And again, he has looked very, very good. But the double knock on there, so I think it will be an All Blacks feed. Yeah, Cortez Ratzinger with the ball. Now, Ruan Ackerman, by the way, coming into lock. They're a bit of a lock crisis at the moment at the Stormers. Well, Dion Free's gone off as well. What a game. I tell you what, I can't get to the play. I mean, look at him. Blood over there. That is a man. And the standing ovation. Cape Town rises to salute one of the all-time GOATs of Western Province and Stormers Rugby. Incredible performance from him. Need a big scrum, yeah, do the Stormers. Pretty solid. Peter Lakai comes off the back. Nice tackle there coming from Yakin. But not able to roll away, so does concede the penalty. Parker now getting involved. And I'll go back, no advantage. I'll go back for the penalty. Not rolling is the call from the referee against Yakin Ahmed. But I think it's a very good point that Andy said. I mean, just they said the composure from the youngster has been sublime, absolutely sublime. And yeah, I think we've got another star. I mean, we're sitting there looking at Sasha saying, "Oh, he's a generational player." Lots of talk about the talent of Vusi Moyo. And when he's going to come through and really be at the thing, he's already capped at 20 years old. And now everyone's talking about Yakin Ahmed, saying, well, maybe he might even be the best of all of them. So a good place to be in at the moment. A really, really good place to be in as Bok fans. Leonard Brown, he's been a good crash ball so far since coming back. I'll tell you what, almost on the ball there was Evan Rust trying to get that turnover. Ball pops out for Bowden Barrett. Rico Wani, he's been busy tonight. Now to the right-hand side, Sam Derry after that potential try-saving effort there. And JJ Kotzer on for Andrew Fenter. Ball over the top. That's not a great pass. And Caleb Clark pops it short. Comes back inside. Goes Leroy Carter. Now short. Peter Lakai now into contact. Now space out wide. Overlap. Oh, they've lost it forward. I tell you what. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, as I said, it hasn't been the most, let's say, clean and polished game. But I suppose it's also the first game of a tour. So All Blacks still getting into. It's a very rotated All Black side. Not a lot of the players who played a lot of the rugby during the Nations Championship. The Stormer side, and by the way, these players also haven't played. And I think that was kind of it was always going to be kind of the problem with this tour is the fact that a lot of these players are going to be a little bit undercooked in inverted commas because of the fact that they haven't played mini rugby. You know, you've had a month off. So it was always going to be, I personally think it was always going to be a bit messy. And what was quite cool, by the way, is the Springboks players who stayed behind, by the way, that didn't travel to Argentina, which there is a full 15 that you can actually check out, like Marks and Intuka Kunu and Carly Sardi, and you know, you had Locks and Ruan Lokier and the likes of that. They actually looks like they played a practice game against the Lions URC side. I mean, how good would that have been for the Lions prep for the All Blacks? And that's another massive scrum. New Zealand will win the penalty, but and they're taking it quickly at Cortez Ratzinger. Does slip though. Also onto the park, by the way. It looks like, I think it could be one Didem Laba who's on. He's a nice, talented young player. Or I think it was actually Kickoff Marabe who's come on, yep. No Mlabe just yet, but that's all. I'll tell you, watch out. Remember the name, Adila Mlabe. Very, very good, skillful young player. But at the moment, 14 minutes to go, and this game on a genuine knife edge. Short side of the All Blacks, looking to try and regain the lead. Backwards of the call from the referee. Going through the phases now are the All Blacks. Derry. That's a good carry there from Patrick Tupolotto. Ball pops up to Anton Leonard Brown. And Leonard Brown. Pass to Peter Lakai. Getting into their work now, the All Blacks. Looking a bit more promising from them. Pick up and go from Patrick Tupolotto. The captain's had a quiet game as Tupolotto. Anton Leonard Brown now. Rico Awani, pick up and go. Rico Awani will reach over. And oh, that's such a soft try to concede, unfortunately, for the Stormers. Pick up and go from Rico Awani. Gets through the gap. And I think it could be Yaqeen Ahmed and some of the other players. I'll try and check now who it was. Just beaten over there. It's another big carry, I think, from Leonard Brown. You can just see the space over there. And as they're trying to fold, Yaqeen can't get across to make the tackle. He's sitting at the pillar there as he's folding. Yeah, and that's what we talk about, exploiting the space. So he's still folding when Rico Awani is picking that up. So you're always, it's so difficult to try and make the tackle there. Burton Barrett will be good there. Well, am I hearing that Dilo Duvenok has gone off? It's slightly concerning if he is. He is off. Well, it looks like he might have done his shoulder. So that's going to be interesting to see because they don't have anybody left. And, I mean, Imad Khan went off with a knee injury. So the change here, how are they going to do this? So who've they got? I mean, Wandile Mlaba's got pace. So he's the one that needs on. My guess is Kalant will have to go to 10. I don't know if Yaqeen goes to 9. Or Similani to 9. Maybe Sanatlin to 9. You obviously got that 7s experience. So Mlaba's on, but for who? Wow, this spells I think the end of the game really. To lose both scrum masters is incredibly unlucky. So how are they going to manage this? It'll be interesting to see here. Because they don't have a scrum off now. And they don't have a Chase and Colby who can really sort of fit into that. So once they receive the ball, we'll have to see how they've managed to rejig their entire side. And Mlaba's on, and I think he'll probably be the one that can run around. Or else Evan Roos maybe goes into like center or something. But well, here we go. We've got possession, and I did mention Sanatla potentially as the scrum half option. It does look like Sanatla's going to scrum half. Yeah, that's a bit of the sevens experience coming through there. But just from that pass, he doesn't quite have the Duvenaka dive pass here. Well, Sanatla's going to have to play 11 minutes. I mean, imagine if they go on to win with Sanatla playing it. Well, there's Lam with a bit of space. There's the dummy and the front foot ball here. And hands up in the space for Diamani. Look at the pace of Diamani. Brought down by Caleb Clark. Throws it back and dived on it by... I managed to hold on to this, have the Stormers. I don't know how. No, Roche pops it up to Ruan Ackerman. I don't know how. And Sanatla. Big hit there from JJ Kotzer. Shoulder says the referee. 21 points to 14. 10 minutes left in the match. Yaqeen Ahmed. Roach. Big tackle coming on him, but he makes a few yards. Sanatla. Goes to Similani. Spinning in the tackle. Sanatla goes for it. Ackerman is a good line being run. Wasn't the best pass from Sanatla. Dylan Zas now to scrum off. Basically, everyone's auditioning at the moment for scrum off. Peter Lakai, though, first man, and does turn it over. Leonard Brown. And that's a great kick from Leonard Brown. And having to go back, here's Diamani. I think he's playing on the wing now. Yeah, he's gone to the... Oh, that's a great little turn. Chiba Diamani's gone to the wing there. Oh, look at... Oh, no, he's just slipped away. He gets the offload away, and Evan Lewis wasn't... Come on, man. I mean, poor Diamani can't do it all. Pop comes up here, and Evan Lewis can't quite take it. But that's a good point, George. Chiba Diamani going to the wing. You know, he looks buggered, the poor guy. And then now they're going to exploit. They're going to go to the short side just because of that as well. Makes the tackle, that is Diamani. And now makes the tackle, does Netley Bashir. Does very well there. So it's a very makeshift Stormers side at the moment. Now Ratsman to the right-hand side. Leonard Brown. Tariko Awani. Peter Lakai steps inside Leon Zas. Coming across, he has Similani to make the tackle. Gets the offload away. Chicken pass inside goes Leo Carter. Missed the tackle. There's Kalan. Missed the tackle. There's Rowan Ackerman. And that's a really, really poor try. Just 3 missed tackles there. Leo Carter, you know the pace that Leo Carter does possess. But that's a bit weak, you gotta say. That's a bit weak. And I think that is kind of a bit of a lot of the different shuffling and different positional stuff there. Similani comes through quickly. Leon Zas gets beaten far too easy. Then it's a 2-on-1 really on Galant. Gets across, gets stepped back inside from Leo Carter. Coming across as Rowan Ackerman. That's the tackle that has to be made. As Ackerman comes across, that has to be made. And that's what I said, you know, I think these games, and this is what we saw in the British and Irish Lions, where these games can sometimes be tight, but then just towards the end, it starts to get away from the teams. I said Storm is 12, by the way, so I'm pretty close. I did, however, say New Zealand quite a lot more than that 12. And this is an interesting one. So that's Josh Nakoum onto the park. And I faced a lot of South Africans won't really know much about Josh Nakoum. Has yet to make his official All Blacks Test debut. It's his first game here. Chiefs player, a lot of Chiefs players, and there are a lot of people even talking about the fact that there are too many Chiefs players. Although he has signed for the Highlanders next season. For those of you who watch Super Rugby and are interested and want to know, Captain says All Blacks are playing lots of new players too. That aspect is a wash. Well, that's the thing. It's always the big thing when it comes to touring sides is that they kind of only get better. You see with the British and Irish Lions with their first games is often a little bit sloppy as well. Penalty for obstruction is the call there. Ethan Blackadder coming picking up the ball, and then it's a bit odd. I love a little bit of shit stirring. I'm a big fan. Big fan. Yeah, you can see the obstruction there. Right, so opportunity for the Stormers now. They can kick to the corner. But yeah, as I mentioned, we will be going into a player rating show. I did drop the link in the description, so you guys don't have to do anything, by the way. This stream will just roll on to the player ratings. You guys can come and join me over there. And they've lost the line there of Stormers. That's not what you want to do when you're trying to get back into a game. So come and join me on the player rating show. Now, doesn't find touch. Leon Zas, ball back inside to Warwick Galant. Now, Sanatlo, he's had to fill in a scrum off for the last 5 minutes. Instruka Kunu, fighting hard on the tackle. Sanatlo to the left-hand side, goes to Rowan Ackerman. Ball available for Sanatlo. He wants to go himself. I suppose that's one thing. You've now got a scrum off where it's got maybe a bit more of a running threat than maybe a Juvenaka was. Leon Zas also seems to be doing a bit of scrum off work. And it's a poor pass. And they've lost it forward. You have Stormers. And now with a space. And Jacoum will kick this one. And poor Diamani, who's absolutely finished on his feet, is going to have to go back. And he's... Oh no, his kick's been charged up. Please put this go out. They're going to score here. Oh, is there no justice in the world? Achiba Diamond, you can see the hands on their head. I mean, he had to kick that. He had nothing else to do. But unfortunately, the man is a flank by trade. And you could just, he looked up and there was, I mean, he had no other options but to kick. Did poor Diamani. And he desperately tried to get back to make the tackle. And he could just, I mean, he had to. I mean, he looked up and there were 5 All Blacks players. If he had run it, he was going to get completely swarmed. So heart breaks for the man. But this is where I say, in terms of the runaway towards the end of the game, is unfortunately starting to happen. This time the conversion unsuccessful. Josh Moore, yeah, and that'll be the game, really. Well, the fact of the matter is it was a game for 70 minutes, and I think that's a really good effort. The fact that that scoreline does not give it justice. I mean, they score another try and you get to 40 points. That was definitely not a game where they've dominated. But that, I think, shows you the depth disparity that we are seeing, that we just can't really match. You know, you've lost Duvanacher and you've lost Imad Khan. You're not playing with the scrum half, for example. You know, they've lost it forward. They have the All Blacks. So maybe the Stormers might yet get a bit of a consolation. There's Wandile Mlaba, a very active ball carrier when he gets going. Getting into the mix. Connor Evans, he's had a solid game. Got him to a lot of work as Connor Evans. A bit of space there for Warwick Lund. Is he going all the way? He's just short. Well, he's been trying to recycle that. They almost trying to put it over there. It almost looks a bit of hands in. They need to try and recycle it. The Stormers. Ruan Ackerman pops it up. Oh, no, lost it backwards. Kenneth Clark now comes away. Oh, no, pops it up. And Evan Ruiz takes it. And then it goes backwards to Diamani. He pops it up to Kika Marabe. Back towards 22 with a knock-on advantage. And they'll go back. Oh, gee, it's all just chaos now. Absolute chaos. You're so close, poor Warwick Land. Why does it sound like he's blowing the blooming game here? It's bizarre. Yeah, I think we're having a check here. I think that's why. Oh, potential high tackle. Send him off! Send them off! Well, potentially, at the very least, a penalty here. A penalty. Potential penalty try here. What do you say? Not a potential penalty try. Oh, well, here we go. Big questions being asked by the referee here. So it's Josh Morby, I think, who's at the collision there. I think it's going to be a penalty try and a yellow card here. Well, that'll be a nice way for the Storm. Well, I suppose we'll actually have a kickoff here because we don't have to worry about a conversion. So it's on the ground over there. So he stops coming across. Penalty try, yellow card. So penalty try. Well, that's a big call there. K3 Anderson, my original prediction was Stormers to hang in for 60 minutes, All Blacks to pull away. Stormers played very well, all things considered, 100%. And now they're going to be, and that's a much fairer scoreline. They are going to get a couple of minutes to have a go here, the Stormers. Winning the game, probably out of the question, but what an effort this has been. And another yellow card to the All Blacks. 3 yellow cards. That'll be something for Dave Rennie to ponder. I'll have to go back and look at the discipline. We'll right, so yellow card to Josh Morby. Lock-on advantage for the Stormers. And the time hasn't gone over there. We're just waiting for the clock to reset. There is officially about a minute left on the clock. Captain said, the Kiwis are remarkable when you consider that you have a country of 5 million taking on countries of 60 million on a regular basis. Yeah, look, the one thing I will also say is a lot of people keep talking about the fact that rugby is South Africa's main sport. And ironically, whilst it is a religion in this place, you look at the school sport, it is actually not the most widely played sport in the country, by the way, from a number of participants. It's still soccer by a long, long way. But, yeah, I mean, the level of players coming through from a South African schoolboy perspective these days is insane. But this is, and I think that's the big thing that New Zealand kind of demonstrates, that when it is so popular, when you've got the structures that you can sort of have this sort of dynasty really that the All Blacks have. And speaking of a dynasty, it's a great scrum, and they're desperately trying to get that ball out the back, but they're going to win the scrum penalty out of the All Blacks, and they'll have an opportunity to have the final say. And I think this will be a warning sign to the All Blacks. I mean, they're going to get the job done here this evening, and I think that's a very important scrum to win. However, not convincing, I think people would say. And it's not always going to be completely convincing. I think that's sometimes also a reality. You know, at the end of the day, it'll take a while for some of these players to gel, etc., etc. But, and that's what I think some people are saying is that you play like this against the Boks, for example, and you could find yourself in a bit of trouble. And that's where I think they'll need to be a little bit careful about where they're at. So just a reminder, after this game, we're going to go to they're going to break it off and they're going to score. They're going to have the last say. And that is a hooker up against a fullback action. Hooker on fullback. Ironically, that sentence makes sense in a lot of different ways. Hooker on fullback. Maybe everyone's going off to Mavericks after this. Who knows? Well, that'll be the final try. And, yeah, I mean, 40 points, 21. Does it tell the story? I don't think entirely. The Stormers can be very, very happy with what they've done. A couple of late tries. And on a different day, who knows what might yet have happened. But the reality is, I think that we're talking about an All Blacks side that was going to get the job done, I think, one way or another. But the Stormers made them work for it. And that's what... And this is the thing. This has taken a huge effort. This is why Rusty will be sitting there with a massive smile on his face. Because they've had to really work for this victory, have the All Blacks. They've had to really make sure they grind this out. And that'll go to the left-hand side. So the final score will be 38 points to 21. And that's the thing. As I said, they've had to really grind it out to get this victory. And, yeah, I think this Stormers side over here, I'm about to put on that Stormers side can be very, very proud of their efforts. Right, well, final score is 38 points to 21. It's a great effort from the Stormers. They're going to come up short, but they've definitely left the All Blacks a bit bruised and battered and laid down a bit of a gauntlet and showing them what South African rugby is all about. People are going to head into the player rating show, so make sure you come and join us over here. Basically, we're going to give every single player a rating between 1 and 10. And we're going to do both sides. So it's going to be quite a quick player rating. We're not going to have time to really hang around and muck around. We're going to have to get into it and get going. But please make sure you do come and join us over there. Please do smash like on the way out. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. And I will